House lately, which is a nice event space just off the square in the borough for local people. And, you know, we have our Facebook page, and we're glad to have you. Been having some good crowds lately, and we're having we're glad to be back in person.
Oh, that is magnificent. Ah, I love this. Okay, see, lots of good stuff coming up.
Also tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
the National Beat Poetry Foundation is having the second day of its festival. I will put the contact information, and you can ask for a Zoom link to there. It's 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock tomorrow.
Yep.
Out of Connecticut.
3 different anthologies that they just published that are all worth getting.
Incredible. Yeah, so make sure that everyone downloads the chat, because that's some good info. And also, I have just been asked, what's the time limit? We get up to 5 minutes each, pretty much. You know, we're not real stringent here. We are here to hear what everyone has to say in turn. So yeah, we want to respect everyone's time, but we also want to make sure we take our turn. And
yeah, if you go over, you don't get to do anything next time.
No. I know you'll have to shop it around and see what you can find.
Well, since this is the last one, we might want to drag it out and just keep, you know, and don't let it stop. Just,
I think we should
plan to
definitely
recite how.
okay, there you go. There you go.
Let's see, we've got 2 minutes to go till we're technically at the top of the hour. Welcome everyone who checked in while we were going live. We got Fatima here, hooray. Carl is here, and Michael Sindler, hello. And let's see, anybody else who I haven't said hi to yet? I do mean to say hello to you. Okay, cool. Yeah, we're gonna get started in just 1 minute. I'm super grateful y'all are here for this. And of course, we miss the folks who aren't here with us, but yeah, we'll be on YouTube, and I will make all of our old recordings public. They were just shared with the Patreon while that was running, but I took that down this week. So I will make all of our archived videos that I have from these lives on the YouTube public, and there'll be a playlist for Poetry in the Brew on my channel. Okay, cool. Any more announcements before we get started? Any more good links we want to drop in? I'll tell you, local folks will be in person at Portland Brew East next Saturday. And then the Saturday after that, we'll be at Scarrett Bennett, which is kind of near the Vanderbilt campus. I think it might technically be part of it. Ooh, Nina Adel just got here. Check Nina in too. Wow. So cool. So cool. Okay. And then I think, welcome Nina, hooray. Yay. Hello. All right, so it's 5 o'clock and we're gonna get started. I'm gonna put us in the speaker view. I'll drop what we've got for a list in the chat in a few minutes. The first 3 though are checked in: Alexandra, Davy, and I do believe Taterhead is who is reading third. I do believe that is the case tonight. So we'll go ahead and get started, and I will work on a slightly modified list. We've got some people on standby, some people who haven't shown up yet, but I'm your host, Christine Hall. This is Poetry in the Brew, established 2011 in Nashville, Tennessee. This is our last time doing an open mic on Zoom, and we love you, our community, and we are so grateful to our Patreon impresario extraordinaires who helped make this possible: Rhoda Thomas, Katie Thompson, and Bonnie Soloway, as well as all the Brew Crew members and all of you who make this what it is. So thank you for making it. And welcome now to Alexandra in Greece, who is going to start us off.
Hello, this is line 12. Can you please tell me that you can see, confirm that you can see the graphics going by?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Michael. Okay.
Mm.
If you're looking for the supreme resurrection of a passion, try finding it in the vision's flare. Volcanoes lava erupting from Earth's womb. Battle cry, heroic exodus. Breaking all boundaries, achieving the impossible. Invisible and visible entities striving to rise above life and death. Above narrow values, widening narrow paradises. Wider and wider along the protean journey. Monad, dyad, antithesis, and new synthesis. From each center expanding and fulfilling discovery and power. If you are looking for the finest quality of a creation, try finding it in a divine spark. Immortality's rays enlightening mortals' minds. Etheric castric bodies, everlasting vitality. Outgrowing every ugliness, guided by beauty. Thoughts, words, arts, giving birth to glorious civilizations. Challenging horizons, freeing from disillusions. Freer and freer along the expansion of Genesis. Logic, principles, discipline, and equals. Wisdom constructing justice, wholeness, and completion. If you are looking for the sweet manifestation of a miracle, try finding it in the human heart flame. Vibrations as rhymes synchronizing with universe's euphony. Endless cycles of sorrow and joy. Hope's momentum waning and flaxing. Waterfalls of emotions plunging down the steep cliffs of our existence. Light brightening through darkness. Brighter and brighter along our sacred friendships. Seasons, leaves, flowers, and patterns. Warding off evil, regenerating, harmonizing strength and immunity. If you are looking for the archetype of a deity, try finding it in the human soul flame. Earth's devotion endlessly rotating sun's source. The great absolute energy, propeller of all life. Whirlpooling through humans and stars. Seas of sunlight uniting with skies of fire. Stellar symbols heightening cosmic chants. Higher and higher along the mystic path. Water, earth, air, fire, and ideas. Worlds and heavens dividing and uniting in divine proportions. If you are looking for the magical journey of a flight, try finding it in an inner euphoria. Mystical self-revelations taking us up to Empyrean worlds. Thank you.
Oh, Alexandra, thank you.
Woo. Like a swirling dervish. It's so beautiful.
Thank you. We next welcome, and I do believe it might be your first time on our mic. Thank you so much, Davy.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'll be, I wish I knew about this group when I was doing my undergrad at Vanderbilt, but glad to find this group now where I am. So in the 5 minutes, I'll be sharing a poem that I wrote, and then also a song on my alto sax inspired by that poem. And here is the poem. all audacious ambitions that creativity trespass, all my talents encompass to outspin a compass, all heroic honed hobbies that soon come to pass. As such, so many I confess, be blessed, digress. As such, I proclaim complexities to diligent digest. My gallant talents champion the cosmos immense. Folding origami to give birth to vase, stem, and rose. Proclaim procreation from paper to elegant proper prose. Profess precious profoundness as each crease proposed. Proper ponderings on prophetic paper, elements imposed. Painting styles as modern, contemporary, and abstract. Every stroke of the brush leaves much less to subtract. Effusive designs before last spell, final call, closing act. Imaginative innovations brushed into canvas, ceiling packed. Improvising alto sax melodies, symphonies, and melodies. Monumental musical movements to mesmerize complexities. Compose expeditions from notes, staffs, and visionaries. Challenge Beethoven movements from auditory intricacies. As thus, effusive entities, intents, talents, endowments, all expansive elements emphasize a man of empowerment. Therefore, I express diversions to birth, beauty's bravery eminent. And now I'll share my musical piece.
Thank you so much, Davy. Oh, I appreciate having you here. It's a wonderful introduction to you. I hope that our paths cross in some other manner, whether that be musically or poetically or some other way. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
What a delight. We now welcome back to our mic with great thanks, Generalissimo Taterhead, also who we know and love, I do believe, as Bryan Franco. Thank you.
Gracias, everyone. Thank you very much, Christine. So I am going to start off with two poems by other people. I'm running the clock to make sure I don't run over. So the first poem is by a young poet from Richmond, Virginia, named Ashley Edwards. She has a book with Red or Green Books called "It Was Sweet Before It Was Sour." I'll put that in the chat a little bit later. If you go to redorgreenbooks.com, you can also find the book. It's called Jigsaw. You left me. The way leaves wake up one day and fall from the trees. It's a little colder over here. Warmth is only a visitor now. I fight with myself whether to try and come back, beg for your mercy. How embarrassing it is to love you, how badly I still want to, how hard it is when you're gone. Sometimes I forget to breathe. My lungs not used to all this extra air. Since you aren't around, my body goes searching for you at night. It always comes home empty-handed. You always show up empty-handed, but when you leave, you take pieces of me with you. I am a puzzle that will never be finished because of you. Again, that was by Ashley Edwards. The next poem is by the current Beat Poet Laureate of California, Mr. Dane Entz. It's called Searching for the Dude with the Bow and Arrow. Why birds fly in gravel skies, the mystery comes clear. In fortune teller's teacups, you will be a captain of some ship or vessel as yet not known. So the story goes, we see our future here in this one, broken branches, splintered shards, nowhere to alight but broken. We look down in trails, divination of what will come, what will be, sitting down on curbside proscenium, watching the play unfold, all the long day, smoking filterless cigarettes, wrapped down in night's foggy bay blankets. We cannot see Orion for the blinding glare of city lights. The next poem is one that I recently wrote in a workshop, If Roses Had Hearts. More than often, survival happens in not knowing an answer, not discovering a reason, creating a futile quest because life happens. Sometimes it steps in shite. Sometimes it produces a bumper crop of sweet-smelling roses without thorns. But for every rose born without a thorn, there is a rose with extra thorns. That rose will be a more lustrous red because its extra thorns soaked up more love from the rain. Its perfume will elicit more romance as if a brouhaha bewildered its purpose. The roses without thorns die earlier deaths, while the thornier roses seem to find answers in the thorniest places. The next is called, How Does One Appropriately Clean Words from a Dried Out Paintbrush? Is every painter a poet? Are brushstrokes emotions? Are clean, straight, taped edges a need for perfection and control? Are edges that shake and blur a desire for altering definitions, a way to invent words? Is abstraction a statement that proper grammar isn't necessary, that poetry is about creating new rules by breaking rules? Is using inappropriate colors like painting skin purple and silver a way to discredit normalcy as a concept? Is painting a perfect rose a way to transport another human to an olfactory wonderland? Is painting a canvas several layers of solid red and selling it for $100,000 a way to paint blood squeezed from a turnip? When the same painting sells at auction after the buyer dies for over $1 million buckaroos, has his heirs squozen blood from a stone? Every painting must be a poem that lives new lives with every person who views it and sees what they want to see. Sometimes someone sees that perfect painting of that perfect rose and sees a painting of a plastic flower. Then when celestial bodies get depressed, it's 4 haikus. When I was a boy, I pulled the moon from the sky, held it to my heart. It was magical, was silkier than satin, softer than a cloud, smoother than fresh milled marble, light as a feather, glowed like a halo. It sang me to sleep, and when I woke, it left tears of dust in its wake. Thank you.
Thank you, Taterhead, Generalissimo, Bryan, Franco. My goodness gracious, it is a delight and an honor to share this space with you. And I hope you do make it through Nashville. We're just brimming with events and would love to have you at one. Let us see. Okay. I am going to see. I think Fatima might have dropped off the call, which means we might be able to welcome in our first standby. And I wonder, Nina Adel, are you available for that? Going once, somebody
Yes.
scroll through. Yay, wonderful. Nina, thank you and welcome. So good to hear from you tonight.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I had knee replacement surgery on August 3rd, and I am feeling really positive in the last like 48 hours. And I wrote this poem before that knee replacement sometime last year, and it's called Unanticipated Desires of the Femur, Tibia, Fibula, and Patella. And here it is. Parts of this body are missing. The bones clack together, cracking and twisting, subtle work of the lithosphere some days, violent tectonic scraping more often, and I, opposed to numbness in the relational realm, willingly agree to it in this isolated space of the body, but only where there's scraping. I don't want to hear what's happening. I want to take the stairs 2 at a time, buy shiny new end caps to glue down under the skin somewhere around the patella for someone else to glue down, someone who knows their way around a knee. Shiny end caps whose brilliant gleam I'll never see with my own eyes, whose lack of feeling, lack of nerve connection is all right, not a sign of heartlessness. Shiny end caps that set off alarms in airports and municipal buildings and schools and concert halls that make the way for me again to ride the rapids down Deep Creek, walk swiftly up Gainier Ridge or some big wild hill somewhere, or kneeling canoe right through a family of startled water moccasins, too high up and fast for them to bite me. So there's that one. Also, I want to say that my children have been, my 27-year-old daughter and 20-year-old son were so incredible to me during this hard time that it made me think about this poem that I wrote called Sweet Love. I wrote it for my daughter. Someday I'll be a little mama with an upturned cheek, gray frizzy wisps around my face, age spots on my skin like the freckles I had in childhood, the ones you've only seen in pictures. You'll walk in the door and I'll say, oh, look, my little baby has arrived, and we'll giggle together, remembering when it was me who towered over you. But not today. Today I'll put on my snappy red boots, walk out my door, spilling coffee down the front of my black swing dress while I balance my keys and books. All day I'll smell the coffee while I do my work in the world and you do yours. And when I tell you about the spill in the 4 o'clock call or the late night text, you'll say, oh, Mama. I'll take off my boots and pat my dogs on the head. I'll pour myself another coffee. We'll observe our evening routines. You over there, me over here. Perhaps I'll write a poem for you before I sleep. So I wrote that one for my Kira. And I think I'm just going to finish up with this poem. Oops. Where did it go? Sorry, guys, I lost it. It's here somewhere. Just because I've been enclosed for most of the last month, I think I want to read something that takes place outdoors. So I'm going to read this one called Banana Trees.
I'm just going to pop in and ask, Eve, would you please mute yourself? I tried to do that and you unmuted, but I will call you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anyway, just to, since I myself have been indoors. Oops.
I don't know how to. She's early.
Yeah, I can mute you again. Just make sure you don't press it. Okay, it's going to be the little mic. Just 1 moment.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Okay, so what I was saying is, since I've been cooped up for a month, I thought I would just read something that takes place outdoors and enjoy that space a little bit, that outdoor space that I'm not in right now except in this poem. Here we go. It's called Banana Trees. When you cross the road and climb a tree to catch a signal to retrieve a text from a lady on a committee who has a question which needs an answer before the committee reconvenes next Wednesday, you can see the new docile bees learning their way in and out of the small white hive with the sugar water feeder on the side. Though the tree is high and the hive is small and the bees even smaller, and one could question with good reason how much of that world of bees you can really perceive from such a vantage point, it is also true that you have seen that little growing universe through the lens of your camera, and once there and later in your eye itself, your forever telescope can see whatever it needs or wants or hopes. Or maybe while you wait for the signal, what you see from the dark-covered branch across the road, from the house you share with the okra seed pods grown in the field on the opposite side of the signal tree, is the tiniest pear beginning to expand and ripen, or the mist on the field just before the round earth house, which some might say through the side of their teeth was a failure to gather heat, and others through the straight round opening of their mouths, a magical interpretation of a river snail, or a gathering of earth and the pulse of your bare hands remaining, though so long left alone there at the edge of the woods, beyond the unmowed grasses. Maybe what you see once the text message has been retrieved from the urgent world away from you and absorbed and acknowledged is the groundhog in the garden, or the muddy puppy bearing yet another turtle to leave for you on the porch, just beyond the banana trees, tipping off the rest of the people that here there's a kind of magic which makes bananas grow thousands of miles away from the tropics, thousands of miles away from their native soil, a kind of magic soaked permanently into your own earth, the same earth which holds everything buried by the new puppy, everything buried long before you came. That's it. Great to be here with all of you. I'm going to mute my mic.
Oh, thank you so much. Excellent to hear from you tonight. Nina, thank you for joining us, and happy healing to you. Really, congratulations on that triumph and smoothness through the process for you. And I hope I see you in person really soon, like maybe even Tuesday. I don't know. Hope so. Excellent. And now we welcome back and thank you, Mike Sindler.
Hey, just real quick first, I want to do one for our great emeritus, Joe. And this is a little haiku that I wrote a long time ago called Joe Mojo. Joe video queen, percolator of the brew, Joe keeps it cooking. And we do miss her. She's such a wonderful person and did such a great job here. It's yeah, I would say it won't be the same without her, but that's a moot point, unfortunately. And yeah, I just can't help but you know, we really love you, Christine, and we love everything you've done in the community you've made here. Has been so incredibly important to so many of us, and it's just been a really special place. And I, for one, can't even begin to say how much I'll miss it, but do wish you best in everything you do. I'm going to read one that I wrote when someone else who was a great mentor and helper on my poetic path quit doing what she was doing. And this is called Gentle Gardener for Jane Thatcher. The epigram is, I visit the orchards and spears and look at the product and look at the quintillions ripened and look at quintillions green. Walt Whitman. Tending a garden of forgotten flowers and unforeseen explosion of blossoming colors, seeds from far and wide blown by rough winds in need of attention and gentle care. Carefully, subtly, lovingly cultivated, every hue, shade, shape, and texture, thick-stemmed and thorned and delicate strands, tall, strong, freestanding stalks and gently creeping vines in need of perches, clinging for support against the elements. Week by week, roots watered and nurtured, turned sunward, steadied by well-placed supports, letting patterns play and form a harmonious whole, dazzling in its rich array of details, full of fragrance, invoking wisdom and desire. Without the effort of the gentle gardener, rare, disparate blooms, oft seen as weeds, transplanted from far-flung wilds, would never have joined, become this interconnected, majestic maze of delight. Does it seem a simple act to prepare the ground and season by season harvest sweet fruits? It is not. We must give the gardener due praise, whose diligent, steady touch sensed in each plant unique potential and birthed a sweeter, better world. This is not the only garden to be thus blessed. Leaving these budding growths in other capable hands, the gentle gardener now moves on to furrow new fields, to bring forth crop after crop of wonder and rapture, as this strong, sheltered oasis remains and thrives. Every future blossom and fruit bursting forth will owe its grandeur and radiance in part to the tender, green-fingered cultivator's loving labor. Spores will flutter off to land and grow in plots and tracts, new germination continuing the gardener's never-ending gift. Hands, heart, vision, and a few simple tools used well are all it takes, the gifted, to enrich shared experience. Exquisite gardens will grow, feeding spirit and soul, all indebted and thankful for the gardener's care, all reflecting humble compassion and graceful design. And I thought I would real quick, I have another minute, just do a piece that I wrote that has been like the gift that keeps going for me poetically, and was sort of where we were at the very beginning of this and how this started, and it's called Within Walls. Microscopic menace meandering on the wind, hanging in droplets of life's sweet breath, invisible sentinels posted by the door ready to pounce and possess. Even the most benevolent visitors, mail, meal, or grocery deliverers are now suspect. All attempts to touch are forsaken, seen as tantamount to suicidal. We wait out elevators until solo passage is possible. And yet, once safely ensconced, one cannot escape the lingering passenger, despair, knowing many will not escape, scathed survivors, scattered ash. One cannot escape the flame of fury, the jowl-burning bile of disgust, anger towards those who propagate and propel death through willful ignorance born in bigotry-led disobedience. None are immune and few are innocent, but care and compassion and the desire to hold on, to help and hold together are what we have left. Hold these jewels dear. We are within walls, but love for all must radiate globally. We are in instead of out, but are all in it together. Be well, hold on. There is more than menace dancing on the wind. There is also hope, and hope can find a home wherever it is blown and wherever it lands. Let hope land on your tongue and dissolve, rushing towards your heart. Let yourself breathe hope into your lungs. Let it cover you head to toe. Let it be your food, your garb, your elixir. Let hope be your strength. Listen to it when it tells you to stay safe, when it tells you to keep others safe. Then spread hope, the opposite of disease, in whatever way you can. Use your gifts, your art, your will, and enthusiasm. Spread hope, give hope, be hope, abide in the shelter of hope with all humanity until the doors reopen. Christine, it's not going to be the same without you. We thank you from the bottoms of our hearts.
Love you so much, Michael. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you deeply. Yeah, definitely gonna be dancing in spirit space with you. And yeah, there's a lot of work to be generated still. Thank you. Yeah. Sharing comes after. Yeah, really appreciate sharing this time now, and we'll be resting on this as we go into the next phase. And now we get to welcome a new speaker on our microphone. Thank you so much. And hello, Bauke.
Hi, I'm sorry that I came in here for the first time when it's your last time, but it's still a privilege and thank you. I have a poem that I was just writing today. I thought I'd share it with you, and I hope you like it. I don't have a title for it yet. For once, I got tired of writing, of disturbing the light. And when I reached the temple, I swept feathers over my altar, collected the precious ash of your words in an urn made of ebony and gold to put before the fountain of truth. When someone speaks something so true, it leaves this world and enters the book of truth. As I bent before the fountain, things grew dim. I could scarcely see. I thought it was my eyes, the cornea gaining weight as it turns cold. My tears turned to a most graceful ice, discarding its shards into my mouth. I make moon sounds to catch my breath. I've moved closer, savoring the taste, when I lick the glass to find the place where I begin. I think that when I abandon this body, I could take yours, just like swallowing a ripe strawberry, a little carbon, water, and you would come into me. I don't know where that's quite going yet, but seems to have something in it. Let me see. If you don't mind, I'll just read a couple of short poems from my books. This is the first poem on the first page of the first book I published called We All Reach the Earth by Falling. And it's entitled Exercising Judgment. She goes into that room, beating clothes senseless in her metal tub. She hangs them all, regardless of their crimes. The men's shirts flapped on the lines like chickens until she came and wrung their necks. And from one of my other books, another even shorter one, and it's entitled Tattoo. I wish you were a tattoo. I want you that close to my skin. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Oh yeah, wowee. I will be putting my ears to the ground and listening for strands of your voice in the wind again. Thank you, Bauke. Wonderful, wonderful to hear from you tonight. Thank you for joining us.
A pleasure to meet you, Christine. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm so
lovely.
brief.
Such an honor. Thank you. We now welcome, I do believe this may be another new voice on our mic, and thank you so much for joining. Cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you. I'm going to start off with the opening poem of a book that I published a couple of years ago called What the Owls Know. It's called Sideshow. It's one of my New York poems. The sea climbs up to Coney Island step by wrinkled step. drifting back and forth on the beach to the moon's beat, like the old men marking time on the boardwalk, uncertain of the promised land's hard comfort. Gulls hobo up a thermo swirled around the thunderbolt's old bones to ride the rails, scavenging down the coaster's skeleton for scraps. But it's winter now. The streets are empty. Everything's picked clean. The electric ladies and the giraffe-necked women from Burma still sashay up and down Surf Avenue, searching in vain for the long-lost rowdy boys from the Navy Yard. Their painted faces flake off the woodwork, sinned by faded sin. Even the barkers have nothing left to say. They huddle in trailers, silent over coffee and smokes. Only the wonder wheel still circles heaven's houses high above the sideshow, and the old men marooned on the empty beach to wait for the climbing sea and the hungry, cold-eyed gulls. This next poem, a remnant of my wastrel youth, is called After Hours. Seared by the thick red sorrow of sunsets, I, stick-shaped, driven by jukeboxes, sit beside somebody else's woman, bonded by the electric communion of guitars. The singer cups an ear to catch the pitch. His voice explodes. Backbeat stomp and rhythm spin body to body, twisting and winding till the music ends and silence unravels us into our separate threads. And now I'm going to switch modes a little bit. And this is a brand new poem, as a matter of fact. It's called The First Day of the First Month, Nizanu, which was the first month of the Babylonian calendar. Taking morning coffee in the afternoon can turn days inside out and time backwards, jangling complacent rites to squawks. Tomorrow the sun may rise in the west. The early bird oversleep. Elephants forget and doves cheat. The Babylonians got it right, creating the world anew on the first day of the first month, Nizanu. There's nothing permanent about it. The next broken ritual, mortal sin, white lie, or morning cup of coffee in the afternoon may topple all that's left. At least my coffee keeps me up to watch the moon awake at dawn and bounce down the Milky Way to whatever comes next. And finally, this is one of a series of old guy poems, which seem to be where I write most often these days. It's called Heaven's Gate. I've served my 70 years and 10 in full. The bars are down, gates open, heaven lurking just outside the walls. But I choose to linger in the prison of the flesh, cell to cell with you, till my old body raptures me to paradise, free from guilt and sin and a life locked up in righteousness to reap my happy ending. Thank you.
Oh, wow. So great to meet you. Thank you, Paul. Magnificent to hear from you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay.
Do you make it around the online open mic circuit regularly?
Is Bailey speaking to me?
That's me, Christine, the host, and I'm asking if you make it to many of the online open mics.
Yeah, I'm a little busy, doing a lot of work with my godson in Florida now online, but I try and make open mics every so often. I just go out and search for new ones. And so I found this one and thought I'd try it out.
A fantastic welcome. And I just send you off into those ethers with great joy and appreciation. And what I'm going to ask of everyone is to go ahead and drop your favorite online open mic in the chat so everyone can maybe hear about a new one and find one to visit that they haven't been to yet, or know, where we might be able to find some of you all out there in Zoom land as we continue on after tonight. And thank you again, Paul. And next, we are going to welcome back to our mic, Phil Linz. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you. And Christine, just want to say the way that you support each and every one of us is special and greatly appreciated. We will miss you. We'll do two today. Remembrance of things past, too, for Larry and Ruth Ann. After meatloaf and mash at the Metro Diner, the windows of my car thick with fog, I turn on the jazz station, hear a lonely tenor, recognize the instrumental Since I Fell for You. Stanley Turrentine, a voice cutting through the many years, all that music we'd heard and shared. Driving through the night, I tune onto the non-physical, trust in their presence, my speeding car. Once a month, I drive to Philly for a 17-piece big band, sit 2 feet away from the 5 blaring saxes. Alone at the table, I invite David and Larry because they'd still love it, even though they're beyond it all now. Spending time with old vinyl, Dizzy and Basie on Pablo, albums Larry suggested for me, still vibrant. An attachment we created in bars and jazz joints, boomers and highlights from Pratt to J&Rs. These days, I'm filling my retired hours with boxes, old papers collected over almost 40 years, discarding much, letting so much go, the unnecessary words of the past. But I find a memoir, 1983, the wannabe writer talking friendship, a few ancient typewritten pages for his 31st birthday. The connection we had then, the connection which remains today. As you continue in your journey alone without him, all his collections, his vinyl, now in others' hands. It's only stuff. Stuff's easy to let go. Gone, yes, but spirit yet alive and well, listening with me, with you, for Larry and Ruth Ann. And I don't think I've ever read this poem at a reading, so this is kind of fun. It's called Satori on the Mass Turnpike, and Satori is a Japanese word, Zen word, meaning that sudden flash of enlightenment. Satori on the Mass Turnpike. I was out of my comfort zone, new territory. I'd come for my first high workshop, New England, driving home the Mass Turnpike, feeling light, confused, accepting all as new, bright, unknown. Stopped at a rest stop, nothing really happening, maybe something happening. Past a small girl on the way to the John, her face imperceptibly glowing. I knew it to be the face of God. Past 2 kids at pinball, both of them, the face of God. My face, the mirror as I entered the restroom, also unbelievably the face of God. Hold it together, it's a vision, it's reality, it's truth, it's what I've been given, it's what I've been allowed. Hold it together on the rest stop, Mass Turnpike, doesn't get more America than this. Hold it together, the lines of McDonald's, digging the crowds, drifting easily, each all God incarnate. Hold it together, make it back to the car. No, I've miles to go for the safety of New York and home. Drove the road safely, held it together, highways and dark empty streets, finally home, East 12th Street. Something had happened. A weekend of love and intimacy, concepts and language never heard before, a beginning, an intro into a teaching, still central to who and what I am now 30 years on. The gift of a vision that all are holy, that all is holy, that I've been allowed to see, feel, and know this is fact. Externals, nothing different. A rest stop on the highway, a new workshop completed, work tomorrow. To live the life I've been living, to be doubly blessed, the teachings of love, the vision of God. Satori on the Mass Turnpike. Thanks very much.
Phil, thank you. Ah, so good to be with you and to hear you. Thank you, Phil. Ah, really, really, yeah, it's a magnificent gift when you join us and speak with us. Thank you so much. We are next welcoming our illustrious West Coast host, Phynne Belle. Thank you.
Good afternoon, evening. I just wanted to say I'm not apprised of the whole situation, but I am happy and blessed that I'm here to see Christine one last time, at least in this platform. Still processing that, but I'm just trying to dwell more on the fact that I was blessed with your company and your presence in this beautiful open mic over the time period that we were able to share. So that's so precious to me, so precious. Okay, so 3 relatively new pieces, one that I've never read anywhere before. First, a teeny tiny one. This one's called March Rain. In rain puddles, 2 days old, new life is teeming. Body crouches in the bulrushes. Energy follows line of splayed metatarsal. The femur activates the economy of wiggle in hip to tail and pounces into mysteries, into renewal, in astonishment of mud-coated child of heart wish. Soil umbilicus, tender shoot, young life thrives in the sun until the first leaves fall. Another sort of shorty. I've been getting really back into my practice of doing daily readings of tarot. So that has been it's just been such a guiding light to me to begin each of my days with a reading. So this is called Sword, Pentacle, Wand, Cup. Mother of enlightenment, I call upon you. Breathe wind into notion, make me lungs of burgeoning concept. Mother of cunning, I call upon you, nestle me safe, simmer inside your womb. I am formed from the new root. Mother of ecstasy, I call upon you, rouse up tongues of flame, resuscitate me, I am reborn. Mother of nourishment, I call upon you. Summon all-seeing eyes, watch over us, cleanse and feed, banish our hungry realm. And finally, last piece, Glass House. It is inside the thin layer, collapsing the sleeping world so that I may wake. My last dream is wanting to cling fast. It is a vision of glass walls, of glass floors and glass ceilings. No entrances, no exits, only pathways, only mazes. I began whispers at first, inaudible to my ears, perceived by my cats as lullabies, knowing they nod and close their eyes. The rising sound on my tongue are sounds of safe harbor. I listen to them to commit them to memory. They will tell me I am not meant to understand them yet. I list the plan of days and lifetimes almost coalesced into being and flip them over light and airy. They are pancakes now. I want to consume them before they grow stale or not palatable, and I have to throw them away. Such are fancies in the daylight. They don't want to stay and sit at the table with you and drink their pulpy juice and chew unscrambled eggs and read the newspaper and hush. They just want to die right there on the unmopped floor. I imagine the layers of me, scab, scale, skin, flesh, peel away, thin like deli meat. I'm frenzied to hasten that process of decay, think better of the idea, halt it, change my mind and goad it, gouge pieces of me to give away in secret. I marvel at my bloodied fingernails. I'm pleased that with each tear, I'm closer to soul. I can rip past fascia and bone and feel no pain at all. In parts I have hollowed. In parts I am hollow. In parts I feel hollow. I am here. I do not let these walls touch me like this, yet still they follow me to the middle of the room where I bend myself to be small. They know this game of mirror movement. I shrink, and then they shrink. I breathe, they breathe. The space contracts. A cry emits from afar. I fall into the silence, in eyelids thanking the respite of gravity. I slip into the crevice, widening as waking relents, shows scarce mercy, lets go. I walk these slumbering halls, run my fingers along impossible sanctum, watch them stick to the cool glass expectation. There are no windows, there are no doors. Thank you.
Phynne Belle, thank you. Thank you so much. Your gorgeous, sparkling presence and the generous gift that you are to the poetry community, to the arts world, to creative life and breath. Thank you, Phynne Belle. Okay, and we are going to keep flowing. I see that Caroline Minter was able to join us, which is quite exciting. And I am wondering, Caroline, is now a good time for you to speak with us?
Yeah.
Welcome you to the mic. All right, welcome. Hi.
Hey, I'm so sorry that I missed the announcement. What is the announcement that I missed about you?
Okay, all right. So I posted on Patreon, though I'm not sure that people noticed that before I took it down. So I was rolling out this announcement in several stages. But I, after 8 years of volunteering for the Brew and, trying different configurations to keep it sustainable, I am going to go ahead and say I will miss you all so much. I'm going to phase out of hosting open mics. I've been hanging out at open mics pretty much since I was born. First singer-songwriter with my parents, and then comedy with my first husband, and then a crew of poets asked me to do the Brew back in 2014, and I've been doing that ever since. During pandemic, it turned into a full-time job, and it's been lovely how the community has stepped up and filled in roles and helped pay for our expenses. And I've got this book I've been trying to finish for eons, and I really need to focus my attention on just a little bit of my own creative arts now. The host role is so lovely, but also all-consuming.
That's where we're at. Right. Okay. So I got the gist of it coming in. So I wanted to pull up my reflection of our last time. So I'm going to read that piece for you,
Caroline.
Right. And thank you so much. So it says, maybe I'll put it, I will remember who you are. Christine, you are the real reason that my reservoir resurfaced and was restored to its regal and rightful risk-taking recreation. Your ravishing and riveting renditions and readings will remain at rest and as a resource for my restoration. Your red carpet receptiveness and respect releases rainbows of reassurance. You've been my rock and my remedy for relaxation. You are rare, you are rich, and you are a rock star. And on this, your curtain call, I just wanted to say, love you with all hearts. Thank you so much, Christine, for everything.
Oh, Caroline.
I'm so glad I got to be here today.
My heart's exploding into infinity for you. You enliven me in that spiritual creative dimension, which I feel is where it all comes from and where it issues forth. So thank you for enlivening that in me, true reciprocation and reflection there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. All righty.
Were you going to share another with us?
No, I'm just here right now.
Okay. All right. You are magnificent. And I thank you, Caroline. I'll
Thank
look
you.
forward to meeting you in another way. Okay, here we go. We welcome now our dear friend, artist, activist, poet, laureate, Henry L. Jones.
You know, I wasn't reading the announcements. You know how things have been, Christine. And you and I keep in communication with each other. I think you thought I read that, but I didn't. But this morning and past few days, I was thinking, I need to get back to Poetry in the Brew online. And I plan to be there in our, I guess, the last time featuring someone in live. Because, you know, things just been hectic. And I'm sad, but happy because I understand and I've heard about your book and you know how I've been asking, hey, how's it coming? But then there's only so much time and energy that we all have. And you have to decide, what am I going to focus on? You know, because if you're over here, you don't get anything done.
It's a little bit of a midlife crisis, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. So,
but I do want to say for you and for anyone here who's local, we're keeping the live going through November.
Oh, okay.
In person, we actually we have John Winston Heacock scheduled for the day after Veterans Day, and he's got some really beautiful topical poems. We also have Kendra Dicolo. I don't know if you're familiar with Kendra, but she is a superstar, rock star, very well awarded and known on the pop culture scene. So she's coming in October. And then this month we have Jam featuring.
Right.
She's magnificent. Okay, there.
Fabulous. Okay. Well, someone passed the baton to you. Would perhaps find someone else to pass the baton to.
I tried. I will say that. I tried in a few iterations on that. So we're going to let it rest now. Well, yeah. I love you all so much. Yeah. It's a big job. I wouldn't ask anybody to do it. I took over for 3 people and I kept it going for 8 years and we're in a new world now. Yeah. Thankfully, there's a lot of offerings.
Yeah, I've hosted and it's people think, oh, you just get up there and tell people no. And, you know, it's a lot. So in dedication to you, I'm going to share a poem that comes from our anthology, 10 Years of Poetry in the Brew. And guys online, please, let's drop our way in the chat how to reach out to each other. I'm sure you can, go online, various websites and find it. And some of you, we are friends already on social media, but let's please keep in contact because, we're not going to stop writing. And so this poem, The Holes I Have, is one of Christine's favorites. And it was in the anthology. It was also featured in chapter 16, Humanities Tennessee. And it's a lot of memories with this woman. And I'll be able to see her, you guys won't, and I'm looking forward to the book, The Holes I Have. A soft light reflects on my walls, filling the room with cheerful dancing silhouettes. Images tracing along hidden places flood my brain through these holes in my head called eyes. These strange creatures soar through the pinks, blues, and whites of the covers. Quilted happiness to the strands and stories heard each night of places and people, then warm kisses goodnight echo in my mind through the holes in my head called ears. Now old, drinking brandy, full-bodied, a calm invades my bones with warmth, bringing a hush, a contentment like those stories, drinking nectar to rain on the castles in my mind. Playful games kill the dragon flowing inside through the long gutter in my head called a mouth. Years of the living, the dead, the hushed, the moving. Ancient winds blow across my face, scent of old lies, becoming a dry desert, once salty oceans of plenty. Aromas persist along the flowing currents, rye from the fields, roses on the bush, strings of honeysuckle through these downward holes in my head called a nose. The sights, sounds, taste, and smell of you from those years, surrounding me, inspiring me to paint an unseen image. Many pictures replayed and relived, but longing for you. Those things which I have yet to see or feel for many years. I peek back at those moments, wondering what to do now with the hole in my chest where a heart once pounded for you. And this last one, this poem was recently accepted for the summer fall issue of Word Peace Journal. It's about Ukraine. It's titled Old Wounds, New Wounds. The Russian bombs exploded outside, making my windows rattle like angry wind chimes in a windstorm. Glass shattered and fell onto the floor. I jumped under the table, holding onto its legs like a frightened child, grasping tightly around mother's calves. Instead, I was alone. As black smoke drifted inside, covering me with ash, I coughed out the smell of burned rubber and imagined my mother's hairy bird legs. Those legs ran fast when we were frightened. She'd lift me up, hold me closely, and run. As I felt her warm breath in my face, her heels stomped faces of cobblestone while looking for a place for us to hide. This is why now I dove to hide and wait. Remembering the smell of her perfume covered my face, resting in her lap, reminding me of the colorful wildflowers growing along Lake Yarpu's shore, where I played and felt safe with her. I could feel her strong arm holding me, preventing me from being washed away. Now, instead, I smell the pungent aroma of burnt rubber, flesh, and wood, and hear distant cries echoing outside. Ukraine doesn't feel safe without her. The child is gone and mother's dead. I'm alone, an old man in war, holding these mahogany table legs, death's cold tibia bones for security, like a frightened child looking for reassuring eyes would say, everything's going to be fine. Then I'd smile, believing those words, take a deep breath, and fall asleep all night. My childish eyes framed in wrinkles, visions of nights turned into nightmares. Fear turned me cold and into shock. Then I heard people calling out. The explosion stopped finally. My dry lips found spit to whisper. And then, with a hoarse voice, I shouted, I'm alive! Save me! Then able to shout louder, I'm alive in here! I'm alive! Save me! And kept shouting and holding those legs of my mother. That's all I could do with my stiff, arthritic fingers, waiting for them to find me as my tears flowed down my face in the etched memories of other wars. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Henry. Thank you so much. Your words are so moving. I love your poetry and I love your poetic spirit and I love you, the person, Henry. Thank you so much. We next welcome, we're going across the pond to the land of the midnight poets. Hooray and welcome Clive Oseman.
Hello. Right, first of all, I just want to say, obviously, how much I'll miss this. It's been such an important part of the scene over the last couple of years, and you know, I've really enjoyed everyone I've been to, so I'm going to miss it. So I'm going to do two. The first one is a complete nonsense, which it's very much a first draft. I actually wrote it this afternoon, so it will be changed. But and then the second one is a bit different. So this one is called The Uneducated Tourist. I haven't travelled much since the pandemic. In fact, I barely went further than Swindon's tragic roundabout for a couple of years. But now it's time for exploration. I'm looking at foreign travel. I may fly over to Italy and visit the scandalously underrated Leaning Tower of Garlic Bread. Hardly ever mentioned in travel guides, but the perfect starter before moving on to the other one. France is also a possibility. I always fancied seeing that cathedral where Napoleon once famously lost patience and exclaimed, "Damn, not tonight, Josephine," giving birth to the legend of the grumpy Prat of Notre Dame. I'll steer well clear of the Trifle Tower though. Cindy Opera House always looks quite interesting. Named after Cindy Crawford, whose passion for opera is an open secret. It is now one of Austria's major tourist attractions. Further afield, the Viagra Falls remains a firm favourite for a visit, though the costs can be a bit stiff. So for the time being, I may just stay in the UK. Stan Drew is such an important figure in British history. I don't know too much about him, to be honest, but he must have been a big sports fan because he has sporting venues named after him. There's Stan Drew's golf course in Scotland, Stan Drew's football ground in Birmingham, and no doubt some others. Members of the royal family have been to the university bearing his name, and November the 30th is officially Stan Drew's Day. I think he was a reality TV star like Kim Kardashian or something. I may visit some of his landmarks. Anyway, I've got to go now. I'm off to London to visit the Schadenfreude, and then I'll carry on to Newcastle to visit St James's Park. So that's that one. Right, the next one, some of you have heard, and I've got to be a little bit more restrained than I normally would be with this because I've got some shitty neighbours, and if they are watching the live stream, up yours. And it has gone past midnight, so I do need to be a little bit restrained, but I'm moving in a month or two anyway, so who cares? Okay, as I say, this is a little bit different. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Do you know me? I am democracy. I am tolerance. I am decency. Surely it's not hard to see what is happening to me. I'm old and sick, and bit by bit, I am dying. I'm fighting to hold on, but without your help, I'll soon be gone. I cannot do this thing alone. You are the doctors and nurses. Can't you see that? If left untreated, this sickness can't be defeated. Words are not enough. Your words are therapy, but your actions are medicine. Therapy alone is not enough. My mind cannot be cured if my body's already dead. I still have so much to offer. This is not the right time to go. I need you to save me. I'm weakening so quickly, so terribly. Actions, not words. Medicine, not therapy. Don't let me die. Bring me back to the light. The darkness is descending. I'm scared. Not for myself, but for what I leave behind. Don't let me go. I beg you to save me. Give me medicine. It's still within your power. I beg you, do something. If we all work together, you can save me. Enough is enough. Do something. Anything, just do something. Save me. Please. Please. Save me. You have one last chance. Use it. Do something. Thank you very much. I did say it was different.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. There's nothing
It
like
was fantastic.
Clive Oseman, unparalleled in presence and in poem. My goodness gracious. Thank you, Clive. And everyone, do make sure you visit at Beehive. Certainly. Yes. Check that out. Well reviewed and rightly so. My goodness. You all. We have a little mix up in the list, and we're going to have a little surprise insert right now. A first-time speaker on our mic. And I do hope I pronounce your name correctly, but if not, please correct me. Nayma, is it? We welcome you.
Yes, Nayma, thank you. Today I'm going to share a couple of poems with you. The first one is from my upcoming collection, COVID, The Wordy Wilds of a Mind Under Lockdown, available to buy from Waterstones and Micah Press from October 3rd. I'll just give you a little bit of context about this poem. The people of North Africa are often referred to as Berbers. This word has negative connotations because it derives from the Greek word for barbarian. The North African people actually prefer to call themselves Amazi. And so with that in mind, I'll continue with the poem. The poem is called I Am Not Berber. I am not a Berber, the barbarian of Greek generals or Roman raiders, cowered in the dust, conquered and crushed, illegitimate invaders marauding coveted minerals, advancing your empires further. The enemies at the gate, the carpeted caliphates, a pie divided in two, half for me and half for you. Gracias, merci, adieu. I am a powerful Amazi who has smirked at adversity for thousands of years, flicking dusty tears, sipping warm mint tea, a syra dripped from the wounds of the nomad fraternity, rising stronger from the debris. My tongue peppered in Arabic, French and Spanish, souvenirs I cannot vanquish, my words an oral history of defeat and victory, immersed in rhythmic Maghreb music. I cannot be erased or silenced by the creed of the conquerors with their patriarchal parlance. I am of Al-Kahina and the conjurers, a matriarchal warrior queen. Neither faith nor power can defeat a heart forged in desert heat. Beware my spectacular spleen. Sands scattered by the winds, I travel across the globe in Al-Maghrib woven robes and olive grove skin. One day you will say Berber, and I will see our ancestors, the civilized and the barbarian, the Amazi and the invader, the jailer and liberty's dame. I will face you with fervor as I majestically assume my role. Now, hear my ululations rising above tribulation throughout history. I am Amazi. Thank you. And my second poem is one which is called What Now? What now? How should I now proceed, having bitterly swallowed and guiltily purged the butt ends of life's jabs and aggression, when the river has shallowed after the baptism of deeds? Should I skip down the street, my feet barely touching the ground, the leash now finally severed, my skin worn and weathered, life's yearning run aground, bearing testament to my defeats, stationary, using on the couch, now binging on Netflix and box sets, simultaneously scrolling feeds, feeding on the lives others lead, drunken laughter and tears of regret, gorging my senses so I don't while out. How then will my days be spent, regurgitating the error of my ways, hindsight's smug whispers breathing heavily in my ear as economic crisis chokes the days, direction where none is evident, a valiant victory or the defeat I must concede, measuring the days in essential errands, the absence of time blurring the days with nothing to do, feeling the whole universe simmer like supper stew, stirring galaxies with a wave of my hand, weathering the tides of change like a fallen leaf, guffawing, is that it? Stripped of my vanities and desires, after wine-stained Afghan rugs with burnt plots of hash nugs, having walked through the ice and the fire, unfrocked and disarmed, cupping the calm, dying nebulas in my palm, a heartbeat in transit. Thank you.
Oh, Nayma, thank you. I am so grateful we got to hear from you tonight. Thank you for staying up so late with us. We appreciate your voice. It was a lovely introduction. Yes, and yeah, if you have any favorite open mics and you haven't dropped them yet in the chat, please do that. Share how we can keep up with you other ways as well. Thank you. We next are welcoming, a lovely local we cherish so much, both in person and here online. Thank you, Carl Lowe.
Yeah, thank you. I've got 4 short ones that I decided to read. 2 of them are about seasons. The first one's about, I guess, the springtime. It's called "The Mountain's Mood is Restive This Morning." I used to live in a town that was dominated by a big mountain that was just at the south of town, and appropriately it was named South Mountain. So this is dedicated to South Mountain. The mountain's mood is restive this morning, impatient with the patchy, sporadic rain. The misty water skirts the sloping trees at first, and then changes its mind. The wind starting to swirl through the branches, the drops of water enlarging, growing more defined, but only briefly before ceasing abruptly, a sudden disappearance that catches the mountain by surprise. Then, as the sky brightens, the birds among trees embark on today's chattering commentary, discussing precipitation, fertility, barometer, and the blue streaks above that push aside the clouds summon the spring leaves to awake to their worship of the sun. And that's my South Mountain poem. And the second one is about something called the sky puppet, which is a metaphor for I don't know what. So it's called Ways of Seeing the Sky Puppet. It would be easy to think of the sky puppet as a condensation of our consciousness. Consciousness filled with music that wanders off into darkness. But it's hard to consider the sky puppet indifferent, with cold hands planting ice in your heart, cruelty at your front door, unexplained pain that comes and goes with the divine winds. But if the sky puppet doesn't exist, why are you thinking about a wooden hominid to explain your confusion? Each time the sky puppet reappears, what rules does it follow? The inherent simplicity of those rules torments our ability to mistake a labyrinth of abuse for a kingdom of compassion. And the questions will always remain about the prayers that orbit the sky puppet. Are they categories, petitions, negotiations, auras, stray ruminations, chants mineralized on cave walls that approach escape velocity? When the sky puppet looks over your shoulder, don't neglect the possibility of ventriloquism. That's my sky puppet. And the next one's called American Camouflage. I've always been impressed with the popularity of camouflage as something people wear in everyday clothing. So it's called American Camouflage. Today I'm looking through the filter of American Camouflage, waking up to another morning of American Camouflage, drinking coffee, separating my dreams from the reality of American Camouflage. You think you see a forest, but hiding in that forest could be those minds looking back at you, dressed in American Camouflage. The voices of my neighbors are cloaked in the fuzzy tones of American Camouflage. And when those voices come back to you, bouncing around in your head, you better run to the desert and drink from that crystal clear glass of American Camouflage. That's my American Camouflage poem. And the last one I have is one I just wrote about a week or two ago about changing from summer to fall. It's called Changing Seasons. Already grown comfortable with the repetitious rhythms of summer, this afternoon I can feel a wrinkle of unease blowing through the trees. There's a slight shift of received sunlight that signals the approach of the subtle subterfuge of winter. It's an undertow that grows more bold as each afternoon shortens, its flow pulling us smoothly towards the solace of cold thoughts that are waiting to awaken from their warm weather nap. And soon the memory of the summer will drift like an unmoored dream, disappearing among a fleet of decrepit vessels, becalmed on a sea of abandoned expectations. Thank you.
Wow, Carl Lowe, you leave me saying, wow, thank you, thank you. Yep, I cannot wait for whatever capacity I get to hear you again. Thank you, Carl. We next welcome, from out west, with great thanks, Sergio.
Thank you, Christine Hall. And to excuse me, I had COVID last weekend, and I was bedridden on my own birthday, August 27th, Saturday. So it's still not the worst birthday I've ever had. I've made bad decisions with drugs and alcohol on my birthday and social media, and ended up in the hospital having blood from my face all out. So this is about the third worst birthday I've had. Don't feel bad for me. I did all right. I ate a whole pie. So we're good. And I wrote some poems. One of them I wrote over a year ago, honoring Neil Gaiman's The Sandman, which anybody not watching that Netflix show, please stop what you're doing after this and please watch it. It saved my life, literally. And Christine Hall, I know we've talked many times. We are very big fans of The Sandman, all of them. When you talk about LGBTQ plus, like sexuality for me is like in a complicated relationship with Neil Gaiman's works. Oh yeah, everybody and anybody, even if they have a pumpkin head, yeah, they turn me on big time, along with poetry. So I still have a cough at the moment, so I'll try to get through these two poems as best I can. Thank you, Christine Hall, for everything you've ever done. When I'm done reading the poems, I'll give a more formal thank you to you, as well as Joanne Collins and so on, and the other people who've helped out. Hil Hoover, it's amazing. Wish Fatima could be here and so on. Other people, but I'll save that for after I finish reading. So I'll read the one about the Sandman first, and then I'll read my short one about relatives after. If you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, if you're watching the Netflix series of Sandman, you feel free to mute, because there's a bit of spoilers in here for the graphic novel, but it's probably going to unfold differently in the Netflix show. but the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman have a lot of homage to pay for that, because I'm alive and here right now reading poetry with you all because of it. This one's called So Live by Serena Lucio, my poetry pseudonym. So live, I mutter in the passenger seat of my car, so live. My partner just gawked at my father's 2011 Audi screeching into that driveway. So live. This is what Lord Morpheus, the Lord of the Dream Realm, told his son. After Destiny dragged his new wife down to the underworld the night of their wedding. So live. This is the advice Morpheus told himself after killing his own son. His son wanted, no, he craved death. His aunt. So his father, Morpheus, picked up his head and kissed him on the forehead, and he accidentally made little flowers, maybe poppies, with the drops of his blood as he walked out of the temple. Morpheus' son died centuries earlier when the Furies tore his body apart and tossed his head and his penis into the hubris and brush. He died in the underworld when he looked back at his great love as she was ripped from him. He died the night his wife died from a once-in-a-million chance snake bite. Poor Orpheus, the son of Morpheus and Calliope. He just died from being in love with love, but never really in love with reality. Always in love with dreams, though. So live. I muttered this to myself after my mom told me to my face that she will never see me again. That's a true story. Still haven't seen her in 11 years. And that my other sister was just banned from seeing me and my other sister ever again. Like Morpheus, just killing his son, Orpheus. My mother killed me that night. She gave me the death that I thought I so desperately craved. I already died the day my sister got boiling water thrown on a third of her body, 3rd-degree burns. I already died the day my father bludgeoned me with a table leg until unconscious concussive despair. This was right before 9/11, and writing just took me to this day. And it took me here with you all right here, right now, because my understanding of time and space just shaped my father. It shaped us all, and that's why he hated me. It had nothing to do with free will or individual uniqueness. I was killed for the same reasons Morpheus ignored Orpheus, his son, for being in love with the dream of not just love, but reality, and the forces and events that shape the shaper of form, desire, despair, delirium, destruction, destiny, and especially death. They celebrate their differences, don't we? We focus on that which makes us the same. Is that contradictory form of appreciation? Is that even possible? Can a house divided amongst itself stand in that kind of a way? I don't know. If we've been sired by the dark night and the fluid time, we live at the complete mercy of living. So we live, we dream, we live a dream, and we dream in life. This advice just didn't exactly keep Morpheus in sync with the reality of him killing his own son. So the ladies were set upon him by some unknown known or known unknown. Morpheus allowed them to rip his world down and mangle it across the grass like flowers made from blood. I allowed these same forces to bite and gnaw at my bones for over a decade after my mother killed me. I allowed this because I wanted to be punished for Orpheus's death too, with blood drops making little red flowers on the grass as the loved ones I kept as my servants. They looked at me with their dark yellow eyes. My sister Nuala Guadalupe is her real name. I wanted to be punished for the loss and burning of my sister. I just wanted to punish my mother and father for their neglect and abandonment of me, my other sister, and especially our so-called special sister. What better way to punish a parent? Destroy their children. Destroy yourselves. For you are someone's children. 13 reasons why not to commit suicide. Destroy the delight of growing old to see the children of endless night and time just die. Destroy night and time with light and eternity. Because we are perfectly capable of destroying delight and turning that into delirium. Be complete with delirium until death do us part. So live. Live until you can't live anymore, then live some more. Until someone or something probably eventually kills you. It happens. And it kills you for just being you. Death cannot kill that which is already dead. So live until you mutter words to yourself in your most private, destroyed, despaired moments. In night and time are more private destinations. Live to dream, so live, we mutter to ourselves. So live. Give me a few seconds to cough. Okay, my next one's shorter because it might kill me for good. Okay, this one's new. I was gonna read this last month, but I got stuck at a doctor's office and I missed last month. I really regret that, but I worked on this one more because I wasn't happy with it anyway last month. So this is my new one called Relative. Relative. Piglet. Hold on, give me a few seconds here. I gotta. Excuse me. Relative by Serena Lucia. Piglet are relative to Eeyore's popped balloon. Eeyore related it to a honeypot that Prue licked clean. Eeyore reappropriating primary functions. It's a process, never a stance or a view on how ought to live. A process to attain unattainable ideology, never a current or permanent state of being. All beings are bound by the most self-deceiving lies to themselves, just to sell something, anything. Denying, deflecting, delaying, all that hides behind frail congenial tones, polite, evasive verbiage. The kind that excludes the 7 dirty words and so much more, too much more. The words of the dream lore don't say this, but appear smarter, more compassionate than it all really is. Facts, only as true as facts compared to, contrasted by facts, filtered by themselves, for themselves. True fact checkers, they don't constantly relate or apply themselves to the issue, aka the data memorized for 4.0 GPAs and higher IQ scores. They relate the issues, the facts. They relate them to each other, not themselves, until they do it all over again, maybe forever. Double-blind studies are just not common enough. They aren't even common enough in higher moral, intellectual, deeper sciences. And Lord Morpheus states that they cannot ever extract its dreams upon the blade of a scalpel, writhing and screaming until the lentil soup air clears. There was so much more relation between him, the Sandman, and Winnie the Pooh. The dream of Eeyore's birthday comes true. Only steadfast in our stances as the nouns standing to the left, the right, above, below, and on the z-axis and all those points in between. All related in one way or another, all relative to the skeptics and the objective truths. Just have the spine to make eventual decisions, regardless if they come from an individual or the collective that always has a voice in individual minds. We are that which made us and that which deconstructs us. That which the Sandman and Eeyore brood over the waking world. Siblings, they are relatives. We are relative to ER placing a pop balloon into an empty honeypot. We are relative to the reappropriation of our primary functions to a different reappropriated primary function. There is no individuality or uniqueness, only the collection of bullet points we were born with and the shuffling of them as we move along to make some fall off and add new ones in the cycles, the seasons, the purgatory. Then we're allowed to shuffle off this wannabe Uberman coil, this fake immortality. Then we fit with other beings relative to popped balloons and relative to empty honeypots. Relate that to a relative who actually remembered to come to Eeyore's birthday party and dreams desire to live, so live and live. To live to see another birthday and another aspect of our dreams take over. Our relatives, our relatives, our relatives.
Goodness gracious. Sergio Rodrigo, there you are. Hello.
But, thank you.
Thank
Poetry
you,
at the
Sergio.
Brew, and you all, Christine Hall and everyone, you know, people like even Serotonin, you know, other people that used to come. It was the only reason I ever wanted to stay in Nashville. I didn't, but this has, the past 2.5 years has really helped me survive here in Arizona. It's nice here, yeah, but I had to come to a lot of truths, get more of my own head out of my own ass. And believe it or not, poets have a reputation for not doing that, but I disagree. I think that poetry and the best art helps pull heads out of asses and helps pull heads out of clouds and so on. And it helped me to a certain extent. And I'm here, a special education teacher, and I wrote a book about opening my own school for kids with developmental disabilities, and I'm another step closer to doing that. And I'm another step closer, thanks to Poetry at the Brew, both in person in Nashville as well as on the Zoom here. Before most of us are dead, I'll make my way back to Nashville and wouldn't mind headlining. I'll let you know months in advance, like, hey, I'm coming back. Maybe I can headline or something, or whoever's running it at that time. It'll be wonderful if it continues on well after all of us are dead. Somebody will take it over, you know. Got a lot of younger people on here, Gen Z kids, you know.
I will say I made an effort for that. There are lots of other events going on. I have not had any takers for, you know, an unpaid monthly hosting gig. So.
But thank you all very much.
We'll have a dedicated party. If you come back to Nashville, I mean, shoot, we'll do a pop-up at Scarrett Bennett just for you.
I'll throw it myself and spend my own money. Let's put it that way. You all don't have to throw it for me. I know the deal. I'll just be like, shit, I'm backing down.
System. We can squat on that labyrinth. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
I like the guerrilla style anyway. You know me.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm a punk at heart, DIY all the time. Thank you, Serge. Thank you. Yeah, blessings on all the bridges that you cross. The science of magical manifestation be yours. I really appreciate you and your kind words and what you are doing.
And happy birthday, Henry. I didn't forget. I've just been sick. You're the man, man.
Yeah. Y'all are. All right. Wow. Here we go up to Canada to welcome now. Thank you, Jeff Cottrill.
Okay, this is newish. It's called Yelp Reviews of Your Pet Guinea Pig. Karen Golden, North Bay, Ontario, 1 star. What a terrible guinea pig. He doesn't even do anything. He just sits there and stares at you. Can't even do any tricks or run on the wheel. What a mess. Gotta do better, guys. You invest more money and time in your guinea pigs, you get better results. It's not that hard. Just get it together. Chad Hahn, Mesa, Arizona, 1 star. This is all caps. This guinea pig sucks. What a fucking piece of shit. Call yourself a guinea pig? I hope somebody vacuums it up and it fucking dies. Ugly piece of crap and boring too. Fuck you, bullshit guinea pig. You suck the bag. Kenneth Simpson, Leamington Spa, England. 1 star. I was rather disappointed with this guinea pig. I've met a wide range of guinea pigs all over the world, and while some of them had some considerable issues, none of them was as tedious or underwhelming as this one. The animal was not pleasing to the eye, and its interpersonal skills left a lot to be desired as well. I've noted a troubling decline in the quality of guinea pigs over the last 30-some years. One need only look back to the golden age of guinea pigs to find such luminous examples as Chomper in the Hamptons and Inky from the West Midlands. All finely bred guinea pigs with style and wit to spare. I couldn't help yearning for these iconic figures while sacrificing far too much of my precious time with this one. Pathetic, derivative, and uninspired. Becky Kopp, Canberra, Australia, 2 stars. This guinea pig started out well, but it failed to live up to its promise. In the end, there really wasn't anything to distinguish it from all the other guinea pigs out there. Take a tip from someone who's been around, mate. If you want your guinea pig to stand out, you've got to put some work into it. Jatinder Singh, Southie, Saskatchewan, 1 star. If I could give 0 stars, I would, or even negative stars. I mean, what the hell? Do not recommend this one, people. You can do better. You can do a lot better. Louise Marie Truffaut, La Valette du Var, France, 1 star. The guinea pig is not formidable, is it not? It fills me with all of the fatigue and the ennui. One cannot find the proper words in English to express why the guinea pig is not satisfactory with one's expectations. As the people say in our country, le nain violet donne 3 coups de pied au poulet avant de manger ma teinture pour les cheveux. Jim Backers, Northport, Florida, 2 stars. My wife and I were very disappointed with our trip to Papua New Guinea. There was too much crime and violence. The natives were rude and unsociable, and the food was served in such small portions. If you do end up going there, I suppose you could do worse than touring some of the World War II airplane wrecks under the water, but my wife and I are too old for diving. Next year, we're just going to see Italy again. Greg Jackson, Brooklyn, New York, 5 stars, and this is also all caps. OMG, best guinea pig ever! Awesome guinea pig, it's fire! I love it so much I want to marry it. Yeah, man, guinea pig fucking rules. And finally, Sue Bremner from Portage la Prairie, Manitoba, 1 star, and her review is just 1 word. Why? So that was Yelp reviews of your pet guinea pig. I've got a few announcements. You can hear me on the radio, CIUT FM, this Tuesday on a literary program called Howl, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. It's a Toronto program, but I believe you can listen to it online if you're elsewhere, so I'll put a link to that. Some of you know I am going to be back in the UK this October, touring with Skylar Winter and Neshka Turner. So we're going to a bunch of places in England, taking a detour to Paris, and finishing up in Northern Ireland. And so that'll be fun. I'll put the info about that in the chat. And I'm also, if anybody's going to be in New York next weekend, I will be too. Hoping to do at least 1 open mic at New York Poetry Festival and the New Year weekend. So that's me. Thank you very much, Christine. It's been a trip. It's been a great experience. I hope to see you again, either virtually or in person someday. Thank you for the brew.
Maybe on my world tour. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. It has been a trip, rightly so. Thank you so much for sharing that and all your goodness and all the good news that you share too. We can always count on you for lots of happenings. That is excellent. Oh, let's see. Where are we at now? Oh, Ed Poetastic. Welcome and thank you, Eddie Foreman.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for making me feel so fantastic. And thank you for being so enthusiastic. All right. My name is Ed Potastic, whole airline feeling fantastic. Please get a time so you can join my rhyme for I Feel Sublime. I got 2 poems, so you know they're gonna rhyme. This first poem is called Drunken Fist. Cause I got, sorry. Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. and I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis. Oh, I got friends in low places. Please drink responsibly before you hurt your man or sweetie. Please don't get pulled over by a roaring hangover. Please know your limit before reality hits. This is called Drunken Fish. A cup of Henny to make me sing like Whitney, a cup of wine to make me feel fine, a cup of beer to put me into joyful tears, a cup of Guinness to put me in a stage of bliss, a cup of Blue Moon to turn me into a balloon, a cup of Bud Light to make me feel all right, a glass of martini to make me feel like Bond, sweetie, a cup of pina colada to make me feel the beach drama, a glass of Grasshopper to make me feel like a show starter, a cup of Bloody Mary to make me feel like Dracula scary, a cup of lager to make me feel a bit hotter, a cup of ale to make me straighten my sail, a cup of Samuel Adams to, that was random, a cup of porter to make me feel in order, a cup of strout to make me hungry for trout, a cup of mead to make me loose like weed, a cup of Angry Orchard to help me put 1 foot forward, a cup of Corona to make me sing my Sharona, a cup of Budweiser to make me get much higher, a cup of Dos Stuckies to make me feel at ease. If you don't drink, it's okay. Too much to drink, you can't think. Enjoy your days. I know what you're thinking. Yes, I drink them all. It was college. The bottle was singing. I was answering the call. I'm not a pushover. Oh God, here comes the hangovers. All right. This is a spicy piece to say the least. So breathe deeply to feel at ease, if you please. All right. This is called Scarlet Oasis. A steamy cloud emitting from the water as raw passion explodes from eternal love from each other. The deep scorching desires while igniting the texture of their flesh on fire. Deep breaths of moanings and groanings in the air, engulfing echoes of seductive affair, quickly losing their sense of place and time while grinding between their naked behinds. Lips melting on flesh hotter than lava as their lust locked with lustful embrace, while everything is hot, scattered, and out of place. The burning stares between their eyes while coming closer, closer, and closer to their blazing surprise. The hardened bodies trying to reach a solar lining while persistently combining. The blazing winds rushing throughout while a rampant volcano shouts. That they dive deeper and deeper to put out the lustful flame, but their minds were consumed by a passion to unleash a new definition of satisfaction. The salty embers rain down their flesh while their jolts fuel their feisty mess. They dance nonstop to an inner instinctive tune while engulfing in a blazing typhoon. Their bodily melody of sublime taboo while their lustful flame quickly grew. The juices sprang through the air while they remained animalistic and unaware. The lustful embers killing their skin while they dance without a frigid end. The waves of earthquake shakes their wet bodies open while their souls transcend, quickly penetrating to do their inner raging beast while thirsting higher for a majestic release. Their bodies sending waves of earthquakes to keep their lustful desires awake. Their thirsty mouths hunger for more while they keep banging on each other's door. A bumping rhythm of blazing echoes while pleasure comes in a billion crimson arrows. Their roars are pleasurable screams while tasting the sweetness of each other's cream. The massive steam clear while their bodies are naked without fear. Their orange spotlight draws near while their energy disappears. Thank you.
Ed, poetastic. Thank you. You are such a delight, and I appreciate you sharing your poetry. Thank you for brightening our night.
Thank you for making this awesome open mic, and thank you for being my delight for my Saturday nights.
Thank you so much. Shared round and round. Oh, we next welcome back. Yay, yes. Propaganda poet. Thank you. Welcome.
So I'm catching on to a theme that's happening today, and what I'm hearing is I really need to get back to Nashville in person now, is what I'm hearing. So I'll have to work on that. Being that this might be the last time I see you for a while, I'm going to go ahead and read 2 poems out of my new book that just came out this week called Word Tornadoes. Thank you, Noelia Cernia, for inspiring that title for that book. The first one I'm going to dedicate to you, Christine, and everyone here probably will agree with me. Seeing beauty in person. If beauty were a person, She would exist within infernos, the fiery passions of volcanic flows scorching the skies of Mercury. If beauty were a person, she would be clouded in mystery, a necessary protection from predators who seek to prey upon her inner Venus heat. If beauty were a person, she would soar aloft as free as falcon flights adrift on endless currents, caressing the clouds of earth. If beauty were a person, she would walk statuesque, solid mountain giant across vast moonscapes and valleys, rivaling those of Mars. If beauty were a person, she would loom larger than all, draped in gaseous forms that keep her veiled from the naked eye, released only in storms that ravage Jupiter's hidden landscape. If beauty were a person, she would never have need for the rings of men. Her radiance would overcome their gravity, encircling the entirety of any Saturn. If beauty were a person, her orbits would criss and cross without any type of loss, gaining only the courage and certainty of the planetary twins Uranus and Neptune. If beauty were a person, there would be no debate. Frigid frozen fears would be dwarfed by her ability to be seen, no matter what any others may deem what she should be. Planetary, plutonic, or not, it is her decision, not yours. If beauty were a person, she would soul shine so brightly that other versions would orbit around her, the center of all light and energy given freely so that things could live in harmony. If beauty were a person, she would be you. One continuously spiraling celestial spirit in an entire solar system of passions, mystery, freedom, vast expanse, raging storms, radiance, and courage, deftly defying any definitions of men. In the Lakota language, there's no word for thank you. They say palamayaye, which pretty much translates to you have made my life better. And we can all here agree that you have done so. So thank you for all the dedication and energy that you've given us. Go be you, girl, and go do your thing. And we are all so proud of you and so thankful and grateful for everything you've done for us. This last poem is for all of y'all here. This one, let's continue doing what we're doing no matter where we do it. This is called Casting Stones. Let they who are within sin cast the first stone, because we are not alone. This stone is being thrown across the greatest pond, skipping across the universe, sending ripples like gravitational waves that pave the ways for creative forces to flow. Far better than just rolling the bones, these stone-thrown ripples rock the house solid. Far better, never to be taken for granted, these granite salutations create the foundations that can bring down the nation of ego fuck towers built on funeral wreath flowers, reminding us all that we have the power if we just choose to live it. So don't tell us not to throw our stones just because you need to atone for all of your sins, because in the end, nobody wins if we don't work together. So let us flock like birds so we can spread the word. We must not let them cull our herd with false prophecy and forced autocracy. They will not block our way. We will have our say. It's time for us to have ourselves a real reclamation day. So throw those stones. Let our ripples grow. Tsunami tidal waves that usher in new days of community, culture, poetry, and song. This is what they have feared all along. Thank you very much for everything that you guys do. Thank you for being here for each other. Lord knows the world needs to be here for each other. So, and thank you for encouraging my behavior. I have a new book.
Oh, congratulations on the book. Phenomenal propaganda poet. Oh my goodness, such extraordinary kindness and gifts. Thank you. Thank you much. And yeah, come on through Nashville. Let's party. We'll always find. Oh, yeah. We will find the place. We will make it. We will throw down. Thank you. Yes. I think that our next speaker might be new to our mic. Maybe. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome. Thank you now. Jamie M. Jamie A.M. Welcome. Hi.
Thanks. It is my first time. I'm glad I actually got to come in on this last Zoom, though I am local, so I'm sure I'll see some of you around. So this first poem is still being worked on, but I felt like it would help to read it out loud. It's called Unconditional Positive Regard Reconsidered. Sculpting characters from our skin, The act sounds villainous, but we can shape frightening things to be beautiful. And I do love the way flesh clings to the contours of your bones, your sinew taught, a remnant of lessons learned, poised as in graceful, poised as if to run. Lymph pools in the cup of your hips. You splash violently against the undercurrent of expectations, so I drink from you in excess. Your wetness is a finite resource. I know this as I lift you again to my mouth and again to my mouth and again to my and again to and again and again and someday I expect you will try to make me a meal of my forgiveness, the husk of you biting at my waist when you come up for air. I will give it begrudgingly. I will point out how you've made me bleed as I look down on you, hollow and sick, as you look up at me, bloated and sick, and it won't feel wrong so much as it feels familiar, as it feels familiar, as it feels as it as and again to and again to my and again to my mouth and again to my mouth as it feels familiar. And the next one is called An Escapist's Guide to Fair Housing. I unpack dozens of stories, murmuring memories wrapped in Tyvek, stacked side by side, alphabetized and neat. Shadows hold space between thoughts that bump but don't blend, the way we bump our shoulders against brick, our unfamiliar arms familiar with its grit, knowing that before these walls were molded into new habitats, they might have housed the moment before lovers knew each other's brine, and the not really cousins opened unlocked doors, vaulting the creaky board. Instead, we stay silent neighbors, lined in muffled rows, only knowing another is present by the defiant tap of sharp heels against wood floor that's meant for carpet, not feet. Feet must hover over rented space. The undulating wood grain is lava cooled by time into igneous rock, trapping playtime banter, not yet tempered by the knowledge of always being heard. Parents shushing as they pull at cheap silver handles on kitchen cabinets, copy-pasted into adjacent units, knowing we touch fingertips with he, she, and they who sup with us across time, all serving the same table of the same landlord, lips all butter slick and wine welcoming, sopping up one another's history with shared day-old bread. Yet still, I feel more tenderness pulsing outward from the cicada hum of words and sentences stowed carefully from place to temporary place than the streetlight hum of people boxed haphazardly in apartment to temporary apartment. And the last is called Anxiety Green. Ants. I'm full of ants. Ants aren't green. Ants eat green things sometimes, don't limit them. I'm full of ants and they're full of green things on occasion. So I'm full of green things. Ants also eat grasshoppers when they're wounded. Grasshoppers are herbivores, seeds and leaves and such like. They're also armored in green, apparently not enough, good for the ants, bad for the, you know. But I'm not full of grasshoppers, I'm full of ants who, taking advantage of the opportunity, might eat grasshoppers who are full of green and are green. I'm full of ants that roil like sewage underneath my skin, some colonies as deep as 25 feet. I'm only 6 feet, maybe that's why they roil, cramped. Remarkable diggers they are, human vivisection of pink and brown, overtaken by green, you are what you eat. Maybe that's why it's so easy to feel like crumbling, ants full of ants. Maybe I will disintegrate into a frothing field of green. Ants will travel up to 300 feet from their nest, body made into bodies bursting forth from a ruined home. That's it.
Jamie AM, I am glad to find out you are local. We certainly do live in a creative center here. Thank you for taking us to that exquisite, excruciating place that you did. Yeah, wow, very thankful for the introduction to your writing. And if you've got any sort of links or anything to drop in that chat, let us know how we can find you, please, and thank you. We're going to welcome back now, and thank you, Martin Parker.
Thank you so much, Christine. Is my mic working tonight?
Sounding good.
Great. Thank you for turning on the camera as usual to be able to see my phone here. I have to echo what a lot of people were saying tonight. Just sad to see this is the last one, and surprised because I haven't been checking online. But I just want to thank you and everybody involved with this for one of the first open mics I came to during the pandemic, and it's given me the first one that gave me confidence to go out and look for more places to do my workshops and open mics. It's been a great boost to. As I've shared before, I've a bit of a language nut, and in the summer of '87, I had an opportunity to study the language of the Republic of Georgia. And looking through my notes recently, I found a poem I had written in Georgian and had to translate it back into English to remember what it was about. But I thought I'd share it here in Georgian and English if you want. This is Chemikoski Dabrundebia Sakit Ki Inch Kaneba Sklaf
Martin, I think we are losing some of the audio now.
Okay, hold on just a minute here.
Now it's back. It was cutting out.
Great.
I'm not sure why.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I have to use a different mic because my earbud mics don't work very well. Should I start that one over? Or did you hear part of it?
I think go ahead and start over so we
Okay.
can get a continuous. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this is what I wrote for my Georgian class. It's not too long. Brunduli Koshki. Jemi Koshki da Brundebia. Sva Sakit ki Inchka Neba. Rota Kutkes Shevuskre Sklaf. Isper Sashi Aprindebia. Kali Ebis Zuzunis Shua. Zvel Nachel Nisklish is Ikardeba. Tried to track this before him, but you can tell I'm a little rusty on my reading Georgian. Grill and Svane Chanskers Kif Tebab Mtvari Skan Shamo Iskmeba. Thank you for suffering through that with me. This is the English translation. Returning tower. My tower has once more returned. Another side it showed my eye. When I around the corner turned, it launched into the violet sky. Mid cicada's buzzing call, I'm lost in a hot, clear mist at noon, but see a cool green waterfall cascading down from the face of the moon. And one of the things that this open mic encouraged me to try was the Tumblewords workshop. And this is something I put together at Tumblewords a few weeks ago called Colonial Cooking. I joined at 12 a 4-H club that met each week at London Grove, the Quaker meeting I call my home. Ruth Thompson taught a group of us boys how people would cook in colonial times. We sampled some candied calamus root, made Johnny cakes and shaker ginger ale, invented a hybrid mixed berry slump we fondly christened London Grove slop. It's years since I've made it back to that home, but now in the heart of these pandemic days, I get to see Ruth on my iPhone screen, still teaching the lesson she's taught through the years at the age of 103. And thank you very much.
Oh, Martin, thank you. Goodness. Unfailingly fascinating what you present, and I am so grateful for you bringing your poetry here with us. Thank you so much for sharing, Martin. Gonna miss you. It is getting, yeah, to the point of tangibility now. I feel the missing on me. Oh, goodness. We're going to continue with gratitude now. We welcome another new author, Terri Rose Jertson.
Hello. How are you? I can't believe you're leaving me. I'm like, no, don't go, but I don't want to be selfish. But thank you, though, for all the support you've given me. Oh, my gosh. Like, I feel the same as what everybody else is saying, too. Like, this room is so welcoming. And if it wasn't for you, I don't know if I would have kept on writing because, you know, imposter syndrome and all that. When you first begin, you don't really think you're that good. But you were always so, you know, encouraging to me that I just felt like, well, if she thinks I'm good, I must be good. So I just kept going, you know, with my doggy poems and everything, but I'm not going to read a doggy poem tonight, although I should, in your honor, read my doggy poem. I'm going to read just some new stuff that I've been writing in other workshops. So I might have to go off camera to see it. So bear with me a minute. Okay, here's the first one, Untitled. I break the sadness encompassing me. I brush away fear, drum snaring. I break shades of blue, purple, and green. I will transform to motion out of this state, even if I feel I'm not ready. I refuse to die without a fight. I break the shades of the sea. I blow the trumpets blaring as I break waves to be free. And then I have one more. Also untitled. Listen to the raven who cried for the children who are no more and who lived under the heart of the sun, blown apart by automatic gun fire from ignorant or damaged minds. These who were scary branches of a family broken tree who planted bodies underneath, gone before age 9, blown away one day, casualties of the wrong place and the wrong time. Thank you.
Oh, Terri Rose Jertson, it is so heartening to hear you. Your voice is precious to us, and I treasure the time that we have spent here together. And I'm just so grateful for the chance to listen. And commune. It's powerful. And yes, keep sending your words out into the world. And yeah, let the benefits magnify exponentially. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We have another new speaker on our mic tonight, and I thank you, Henry Jones, for inviting your friend from Chicago. We welcome now, and thank you, Eve. Eve, I'm going to scroll through my windows. Hang on, it'll take me a moment. Where are we at? Is Eve not with us any longer? Oh dear, I think we might have lost Eve. Henry, do you know? Oh dear. Well, Henry's on my list, but Eve isn't. Okay, well, we'll see. I'll text Henry, we'll see. But guess what? We have someone who we haven't seen in a long time. I hope you're ready. Really, really grateful to welcome you back, Reverend Dr. Donna Whitney.
Thank you, Christine. And I'm just going to briefly remind you that it was back, I think, in 2018 when my friends Chaos and Sizwe first brought me to Poetry in the Brew. And a young woman whom I have not seen since read a poem that night that moved me to tears. And I went home and I got in bed and I could not sleep until I wrote a reply to what I heard. And then I just kept writing poems. And so if I hadn't shown up that night, there wouldn't be as many poems in the world. So thanks, Christine. And although they're not here, thanks Chaos and thanks Sizway. So I have 4 short poems that are new. Each one is written for a particular person whom I will name. And I'll start with a poem that is for a portrait that's on my wall. It's a woodcut by the recently deceased artist. Name is escaping me at the moment. Anyway, it's called Woman with Hat. And here it is, Woman with Hat. From her frame on the wall, she tells me you can be sad and happy at the same time. You can wear feathers. A woman can be beautiful forever. The sun rose this morning and touched her elegant face, and all is well. And the artist is David Driscoll. The second one is called Waning Crescent, and it is written for my boyfriend, Frank. 3 a.m., the smallest crescent of a waning moon and Jupiter high in the sky. I reach for you, fingers spread to lace with yours, lips parted, the secret places in my soul opened. The odds are against it, but you find me, you too, with fingers spread, lips parted, and the secret places opened in your soul. The next one is a little haiku, a series of 11 haikus that I wrote during 11 days spent with my wonderful 7-month-old granddaughter, Georgie. Georgie Jane, her middle name is the same as mine, and no, that was not an accident. So this is called Georgie Haiku number 1. Trying out new things. Today she ate broccoli, green poop tomorrow. And the last one is one that I wrote for me, and it's called To the Moon. I got my degree and flew it to the moon and back. I got my divorce and flew it to the moon and back. I bought my house and I fly it to the moon and back every night without ever leaving my bed. I walk my dog to the moon and back every day without even leaving Westmead. I love my daughters and their daughters to the moon and back 100 times every hour. The arugula seated itself all over the lawn while I dreamed away the winter inside. The cilantro relocated itself just outside the garden. I love my life to the moon and back. Freedom is nice. Liberation is nicer.
Oh, yes, the wholehearted. Oh, yes. Donna Whitney, thank you. I do not ever use the term awesome lightly. I just think it's awesome, the poems you've put into this world. And I am so thankful that I had any small part to play in facilitating that. And I send up praises to the young woman who offered that first poem to which you might, well, which you felt you must respond. So thank you, thank you. And thank you for tonight. And now I see we have Rishi on screen, ready and waiting. I am so excited to welcome you back to our mic. Thank you. Hello, Rishi.
Hello, thank you. I don't have a book, but I'm going to pretend to read from Hil's book. My roommate, Hil, I got the link in the chat anyways. Just because they're on stream, I have to embarrass them a little bit. Just one short poem. I'm not good at, it's not my job to clean the fryer, manage the social media accounts, pretend to play nice, find my replacement, acquiesce to your every whim, work, sick and injured, this body is here for the life within it to live through, finding expression and fruition and dissolution. That's my job. And I'll have you know, I am just as mediocre at that as I am at all the other things. What? Oh, right. I'll take the medium frosty and a large fry. Do I pay here? Oh, it's the next one now. Okay, love you. Bye. That's the poem, and Hil's actual poem book link is going in the chat. So y'all buy that, even if you don't like it, just buy it anyways. Thanks. And,
oh no, we like it.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for putting this space on, Christine. I know it takes a lot to host these kinds of events. I hosted a poetry thing at the house for a little while, and all the best to whatever's next, and hope to see you around.
Oh, thank you so much, Rishi. Yes, it is a proper emotional reaming every night, not to mention the administrative tasks that it requires. But yeah, y'all just hollow me out, and yeah. I'm thankful, and I'm gonna let it rest on that. As I have mentioned, it's out of need. Woo. But yes, thank you. And thank you for pushing Hil's words out there further. And Hil, thank you for keep pushing those words out. We need them. And just, I mean, the people that you are, seriously, my dear friends who show up to the brew and who make this what it is, I know that you know the sacredness of this space we share and the import of having this place to practice sharing our voices, to practice telling our hearts truths, speaking our minds, opening them further, and carrying that forth with inspiration and invitation. So I trust you all and charge you with that. And I thank you. And I thank you again. And I next welcome, oh my goodness gracious, can you believe it? Can you imagine? Thank you. Hello, Cathy Carson.
Hi, Christine. Good to see everyone. Gosh, I just want to say thank you so much. Yeah, I met you guys during the pandemic. I was nursing in ICU with COVID patients and my head was pickled. And you guys just caught me and just carried me through that. And thank you so much to all of you. And Christine, bless you, bless your heart. I'm going to do a little bit from the show. So some of you know the character Danielle who ends up homeless. And this is the part in the show where she gets a place in a shelter. So it's after she's been on the streets and she gets picked up and gets a place in a women's shelter. So I'll take it from there. I shared a room with a family and a kitchenette with another family. I slept with my money and my socks like I had done for 5 months. I got a protection order from my dad. Safety, a game of Jenga that could collapse at any given moment. It took 8 months to get a flat. This tiny, dingy, dark, damp hole of a flat with mold in the corners, but mine. A mattress on the floor and a sheet to act as curtains, but mine. I got a job as a carer in an old people's home and I saved so damn hard. I made a home in that crappy little flat. I kept it like a pin, and all the while, these old folk, though, the sheer unquestioning acceptance of them just blindsided me. It turns out that kindness is so much easier to give than to accept, but I was learning slowly. You see, when someone frail trusts you, when they trust you to help them bathe, to help them eat, to help them with all the hidden intimacies of life, then you begin to trust yourself a little bit. And I was desperate to trust. I was terrified to trust. See, I would step towards people and back again, and towards them and back again. And these old folk, though, they let me dance this relationship hokey-cokey because somehow, without ever being told, they knew I needed that. I kept secrets, lots of them. See, I found out that people have no idea how to hold your truth when it looks nothing like theirs. And words wounded easily, and I would pick at the scars. And any time that someone made me feel small, suddenly I was every child I had ever been at every age when I had ever felt small. And the other person had no idea that they were facing an army. And sometimes there were wars. Sometimes there were casualties. But always, I was sorry after. I bloody loved those old folk. I felt like I had 15 grannies and 17 granddads. I had my favourites too. Eccentric and unbelievably posh old ladies who wore bright red lipstick, ginger wigs, and far too much flippin' underwear. And they filled their tiny rooms with books stacked on books stacked on books. They picked my brain for crossword answers while I made their beds, and they told me their world while I bathed them. And they seemed to know by instinct to never ask about mine. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Christine. Bless you, and I bless you for honoring yourself and putting yourself first, and I wish you all the best with the book and everything going forward. You guys take care.
Cathy Carson, thank you. And I think, this is my first time seeing your face in any kind of proximity since you've had this one woman show, which so much congratulations with all of my being. What a pinnacle and a triumph. So well achieved and well deserved and well earned. Oh, and yeah, just thank you for sharing the beauty of your being. You shine from the inside out, and it is so enlightening for everyone who gets to witness. Thank you, Cathy. Well, we're going local again, and we are welcoming with great thanks, Gregory Lannom.
Thanks, Christine. I'm crying because of Cathy, not because this is the last of. No, I'm crying because of that too. But seriously, Christine, thanks for everything you've done and putting this on for the 2 years you've been doing it, and the live at the Brew and everything you do for the local poetry community here in Middle Tennessee. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, and thank you for co-producing with me. That was an awesome show that we had the privilege of working on, and yeah.
Oh yes, yes, that was
Maybe
a great
Black
project.
Voices Matter will make a
Yes.
return someday, because every day it is the truth.
100%. Yeah, that was a great experience, and thanks for working with me. And I was mainly just trying to keep up with you there, but thank you for that. I've got a couple of things here, and a recent poem that Hil has heard, although I've tweaked it since then. And I love this time of year because it means that Halloween is just around the corner. And I'm going to change my background to be a little more spooky when I read this. There we go. Let's get spooky. It's already time. It's already too late, because it's always midnight somewhere. Time to get ready for All Hallows Eve. Do not be disingenuous. You know this to be true. If you call the horror hotline, they'll explain it using a universal vernacular. From Universal monster movies, that is. For me, the signal that it 'tis the season was in reading a horror story, a year-round pastime, as I was seeking a harbinger. Your protagonist sees a shrieking ghost. His and my knees quaked with fear, but he was mistook in his terror because it was a pale peacock transformed by the Gothic situation. I know, hard to reconcile that the spooky days are upon us, late October being in a definite juxtaposition with August. These days when the flannel is still in the closet and our skin is easily tanned by the sun. But behold, I show you a mystery. Things bump in the night year round, and you explain a mysterious whisper as a sneeze, even though you are alone. And what do cats see when they look at nothing? The grocery store has already stocked the goblin-appeasing treats. The craft store is hoarding artificial fall leaves and papier-mâché pumpkins. And the thing under the bed hears the bell tolling like an alarming alarm. The midnight hour is upon us, especially now, as it is time to get spooky. And I'll change my background back a bit here to my Nashville background, if I can get my screens to cooperate just real quick. And I'm purposely delaying because I don't want, like I said, don't want to end the stream ever. But here we go. That's my Nashville background there. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a Shakespeare nut, and so my final piece here is a small collection from the Bard that I felt was appropriate for this occasion. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, we're all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve. And like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made on, and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
Whew, stunning. Oh, Gregory Lannom, thank you. Oh, you know how to set a mood too, don't you? Thank you so much. I'm a big old fan of the Bard myself, so I will specifically be keeping watch for your activities to do with that. Maybe I'll be freeing up a little more play space in some certain realms. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next. But I mean, crap, maybe I'll tunnel in and finish the book in 2 weeks. You never know about that either. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Next, we are going to welcome, hey, another new speaker on our mic. Is this the truth? I'm excited to meet you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Welcome and thank you, Prince A. McNally.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here, and I'm really happy that at least I caught, the last reading, so. So this is a piece called The Foreign Language, and it's dedicated to my sister. The last time I spoke with her was back in April the 13th, 2022. She called to say she loved me and how much she missed me. She said she had just awakened from sleeping on church steps. In that moment, I thought to myself, how wonderfully ironic. Perhaps this was a sign she's finding her way closer to God's altar. Though it saddened me how casually the words "I was sleeping on church steps" managed to escape her lips as if it were commonplace, a normal occurrence in the life of an addict, where the notion of rest is but a luxury. You sleep wherever you can find a small pocket of peace, a brief moment of respite from a world that has devoured you. Whether it's an abandoned car, an alleyway, an empty stairwell, or church steps. In this arduous existence, one must shed their civilized skin, for the life of an addict is anything but civilized. In the endless pursuit of nirvana, dignity is blasphemy. You do whatever you have to do to survive, pushing aside one's vanity, shame, or pride. Each day, I pray for her recovery, her escape from this curse, this scourge of addiction that has turned this incredible woman into a mere shadow of herself. for whom church steps would serve as a suitable place to rest in a sunny afternoon in spring, for whom a hot shower, a warm bed with roof overhead has become a distant memory, for whom pride and dignity is a lost commodity, a foreign language she no longer speaks nor understands. And in my next piece, it's called Hashtag. In the US, military assault weapons are being sold in record numbers. Hashtag. Mass shootings across the country are trending. Hashtag. Active shooter on canvas is trending. Hashtag. Sandy Hook is trending. Uvalde, Texas is trending. In the latest of American tragedies, on May 24th, 2022, 19 children and 2 teachers were fatally shot, while 17 others were wounded, all by a single gunman at Robb Elementary School. During the 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois, 7 people were killed and over 24 were wounded by a lone sniper using a military assault rifle. These incidents strongly suggest that we as a country are in a state of emergency. I cannot begin to imagine what it must feel like for a parent to lose a child, or for a child to lose a parent to gun violence, particularly in our schools where they should have been safe, where they should have been protected, and yet they became victims of a failed system. Another tragic statistic. This poem is an honorary hashtag acknowledging all those who were brutally massacred and wounded in our schools and public spaces, gunned down by gunmen who were allowed to purchase military assault weapons, no background checks taken. When a child is born, the angels sing in serendipitous soliloquy. And when the song of a child's life is suddenly interrupted, the angels weep with a sadness as deep and heavy as a bloated cloud. It doesn't matter if you weren't in those classrooms in Columbine, Sandy Hook, or Robb Elementary. It doesn't matter if you weren't at the parade in Highland Park, Illinois, the church in Charleston, South Carolina, the shopping mart in Buffalo, New York, or that club in Orlando, Florida. It doesn't matter if you're Black, Hispanic, white, or Asian. It doesn't matter if you identify as gay, straight, transgender, or queer. Regardless of your financial status, political affiliation, or religion, we are all human. Therefore, we are all victims of these horrific tragedies. I pray for the families as they mourn the passing of their loved ones. We honor the dead in a moment of silence. But we will not be silent. Let us spare the families the irony of a 21-gun salute. Spare them the empty sentiment of a folded American flag placed in a grieving mother's arms where a child used to be. Hashtag, there will be no 21-gun salutes trending in this poem. Hashtag, there will be no folded American flags placed in a grieving mother's arms trending in this poem. This poem is a patriarchy-free environment. In this poem, our schools are a safe space for our children and our teachers. No barricades pressed against classroom doors needed in this poem. No active shooter protocols are needed in this poem. No SWAT team on standby or teachers armed with guns in this poem. This poem is a gun-free zone for our children, where the hungry wrath of a sniper's bullet shall never pierce their tender skin, erasing their future. In this poem, we will heed the warning signs. In this poem, no one is invisible. A child struggling with mental health shall not go unnoticed or unattended. A child being bullied will not be tolerated in this poem. In this poem, no parent will ever have to worry about the safety of their child in our schools. There will be, lost my place. There There will be no mass shootings in this poem, no signs of death in this poem, no funerals, preachers, eulogies, tears, caskets, tombstones, no gravesite burials, no candlelight vigils, no moment of silence. There will be no silence in this poem. In this poem, we will end gun violence. In this poem, Congress will vote for the safety of our children above the profit of gun sales. In this poem, the teachers are teaching and the children are learning. In this poem, children are playing, not hiding. Parents are smiling, not mourning. In this poem, love is trending. Joy is trending. Life is trending. At 3 p.m., when the school bell rings, everyone goes home in this poem. Thank you.
Holy, holy. That was transformative. Thank you, poet, prophet, Prince A. McNally.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Ah, yes, the deepest form of appreciation for you. And may your words be ever more magnified out into this world and realized. Thank you so much. I do believe you mentioned Elizabeth joining our list. Was that on our open mic list? I don't have an Elizabeth in the room. You're muted. I'm sorry.
I guess she didn't show up. I thought she was coming. She said.
Oh, well, I'm sorry we missed Elizabeth tonight. It is one of my favorite names, but that's a private matter. So love also and blessings to Elizabeth. Thank you again, Prince A. McNally.
Thank you.
See, oh, goodness gracious. Yes, with the new book. So grateful, excited, honored to welcome them. Thank you so much, Hil H.
Hi, now I feel like I've been talked up too much. I guess I am going to read something from my book, and then I'm going, oh, here, I have a book, see. It's called These God-Forsaken Notes, an Irreverent Poet's Memory Lost Memoir. And I'm going to read a little poem called Who Taught You? I don't know who taught you that to cry is a lifelong commitment, but I can promise you that it isn't. I can tell you that my hand cramped while I was slicing tomatoes, and I bit a hole in my cheek, and then I finished cooking, rinsed the taste of blood from my mouth, sat down with my omelet, and relished every tomato and Gruyere bite. I can tell you that 1,000 ships have sailed for lack of proper anchor in my turbulent waters. And then I learned to go to bed alone, learned to keep a pile of plush next to my bed, woke up every morning and relished every lonelish morning coffee. I don't know who taught you that to cry is a lifelong commitment, but I can promise you that if you see upon my face a storm of tears for this body that has struggled from birth, for the violence and harm that it has felt, that so many bodies feel in this world, for the loss of motion or memory or some specific love, I am not committed to this any longer than any storm lasts. I'm always committed to surveying the aftermath and bringing forth eternally new shades of green. After all, a butterfly landed on my phone when I stopped to record these lines. And let's see, what else do I have here that is relatively, actually here. We're gonna read a harder one because I usually read at places that don't let me read things that aren't like safe for work. This is not safe for work. Actually, I'm going to give you a warning. This has some threats that were directed at me in it. And so they are very nasty threats. And yeah, so just trigger warning, bad things. It's called May You Be. In the early morning light, I didn't sleep. Never went back to sleep after discovering my personal email had been compromised. I go down the list. I know it better not to look. I know that it is healthier to mass delete, to refuse to engage, but I peek through the fingers anyway. So, how to deal with my name, my profile, my newest, safest name this time. Posted on another hate group with his inbox full of triggers. I know they find that word funny. No, they find it funniest when I am lying on the ground, clutching a long-healed wound. Funniest when they can claim my trauma says something about me and not men who see a child as a sheath for a weapon or a weapon. So I go down the list. May you be free from fear. I'll see you dead. I'll come on your corpse. May you be free from compulsion. I'll prove to you what you really are. I'll make you feel it. May you be blessed with love. I'll tear your heart out. You'll never be man enough to fight back. May you be blessed with peace. I'll break you into a million pieces, put you back together the way I want you. May you, and these words, this version of loving kindness practice always resounds as an echo in my mind, always a beloved rabbi's voice beneath mine somewhere. May you, if I can say all the words for every person behind every thread in my inbox, maybe I'll convince myself that I deserve them for myself. May these blessings be enough to cover this fear, this not unfounded fear, this built on experience fear with peace and love. Okay. One more, very short one to cleanse the palate. It's called Practice. It's also about loving kindness practice, actually. Can you love your way out of crisis, I wonder? I don't mean marry someone wealthy to fix your debt or move your way up some ladder that ends with luxury or lack of struggle, but rather sit in the midst of all that is, hurting and hard and hopeless. Breathe deep of the world's wonder and sorrow too. Let the strength of all this death-wrought and fetid fear coat your lungs, your spirit, and somewhere inside you begin to transform. Breathe out everything calm, cool, and clear, like a spring that the world can sip at to refresh itself, like a natural wonder in your own right. Can it be enough to try? Thank you. That's been me. Rishi linked my book earlier. You can buy it. I will probably send you a cute little custom poem and sign it and stuff. Love you all. I will miss all of you.
Oh, Hil, I already knew I was getting that book. I have a great long string of cuss words for you, some of which were just invented, delivered with pure reverence in the realm of imagination. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Whoa. Okay, yes. That the world needed. The world needs you. Yes, pure reverence for the entirety of your being, Hil. Thank you. Whew, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, I really would like to see some rich rewards coming back to you for what you have put out there. Just may it be received with all of the appreciation that it deserves. And yeah, it reflects how needed it is. Thank you. Ooh, love. All right. So we are going to Australia. That is a joy. And all the way into Tomorrowland. Thank you so much and welcome, Michael Collins.
Great. Thank you very much, Christine. I hope this is coming loud and clear. I've had trouble with the audio lately. That's good. And of course, I echo everyone's sentiments, how much you are loved and appreciated. So thank you personally. Yeah, 2 short poems. You should be a priest. You absolve others' sins so well. Yes, you should be a priest, he advised. I cannot be a priest. Too many sins of my own. I cannot be a priest, I replied. You can be a healer, set wounded spirits free. Yes, you can be a healer, he proclaimed. I cannot be a healer. I am myself unwell. I cannot be a healer, I explained. You must be a hero, such is what this world demands. Yes, you must be a hero, he decided. I am not the stuff of heroes. I wear a coward's cloak. No, I cannot be a hero, I confided. You should contribute in some fashion. Play your part for the greater good. We each have debts aplenty to repay, he concluded. I do what I can, my friend, to be all of who I am. Among the ranks of the ordinary, I have been graciously included. Thank you. And the second one, as soon as I find it. Has it disappeared on me? Oh, there it is. Recently, I was involved with in a conversation with a friend of mine who described themselves as fluid. And this poem came from that conversation. Fluid. Look in the mirror. A disturbance, a disconnect. Feel the change. First the one, then the other. Content, visceral. Texture, strange. Father says, call the doctor. Mother concurs. In the flurry of the moment, same old confusion. Make it real, no other conclusion. She is here, and it is certain he is here, who also owns the true. And that which is lost, and that which is found, is one day suspect, next wanted again, anew. Coming out, a revelation. Returning much later, a force of nature, a family in contrition, somewhat shamefaced, abandoning at last their diabolical mission. Thank you, and thank you once again, Christine, and thank you all. It's been a pleasure, a joy.
Oh, Michael Collins, thank you. I love your work. I love your words and your perspective and your insight, your heart. I just adore you. Thank you so much, Michael Collins.
Thank you.
Oh, this brings us. This brings us to an extra special little surprise, which is actually gigantic as far as I care, as far as I'm aware. I mean, the experience of this. What a boon. So a surprise here before our last open mic speaker. We welcome now and thank you so much, Jamie McCormick. Unless we were waiting until after. Did I jump in there too quick? Do we want to wave our fingers? Jamie's muted. Do we need to do somebody else first? We can do that.
Go, Jamie. Go, Jamie.
Sorry, I'm.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Chatting away to myself. Yeah, I didn't realize missed me if I would say something. So I just need to set my my keyboard.
Oh, Jamie, thank you for being here.
I don't know what I'm gonna sing.
Oh, if you want to come back in a few minutes, we can bring up the last open mic. Do you want to do that?
Do you want to hear? Well, quickly, do you want to hear something old that you already know, or something new? Then
I want to hear what's
So I know
hot on
which
your
way I'm
heart and
going.
mind and lips tonight, Jamie.
Yeah, just one from the heart.
I'm inclined toward the newness, but I'm gonna love whatever you bring forth because I think everything you bring forth is pure fucking art.
Okay, well, actually, that would be Kate Bush at the moment, but I should sing something original. Okay, I haven't done this one at Brew before then, so I'm gonna sing this. Oh. Is love not all? Is love not enough? Does love not conquer all the other stuff? Is love not the king of all it does survey? Does love not always find a way? Is love not all? Is love not supreme? Does love not make a reality of the dream? Is love not the builder of bridges in time? Does love not want you to be mine? Is love not all? Is love not too much? Does love not need the personal touch? Is love not the ocean that I must sail? Does love not always prevail? Will the hungry sea devour me and spit me out less whole? Will the bitterness not sour me on the way to find your soul? If I cried 1,000 oceans, would I wash upon your shore? If I sail toward your lighthouse, will I find you at the door to welcome me home? To welcome me home. To welcome me I cannot begin to tell you how important you've been, Christine, and how much poetry and the blues meant to me. And I have such mixed emotions about being here at the last one. Bosies.
Jamie.
Bosies.
Jamie, with all that I am. all that you are. Always, all the ways. Jamie, thank you. Thank you. I hope you know what I think of you. I hope you feel what I feel for you.
Oh my God, you, Christine.
All right. What? Yeah. Okay. And so what I'm going to add on the end of that is, we got the Zoom space for a little longer. So if anybody wants some private Zoom sessions, I am here for it. Yeah, if anybody else has some books or artistic works, you want some one-on-one, like let's encourage each other, let's get it done. Yeah, I'm here for any kind of creative ideas you have for continuing to amp each other out and spread the good word. We're going to welcome our last speaker on the open mic. I might share a little piece I've got in progress. I guess that might be the right thing to do. That's kind of up to y'all. We've been here for 3 hours. I'm so appreciative of you all. And thank you so much to the last speaker on our open mic tonight. I'm so grateful that you hung with us, that we were able to convene in this space. Thank you. Hello, welcome, Prasanna Kkumar.
Well, it's quite an emotional ride, Christine. After a long gap, after a long time, I've been trying to come here and, at last I made it and, I missed the poetry is brewing up. Well, I would say that. The way you are taking it, you're so appreciable. It's so immersive and so imbibing, and all the poets over here, so indulging. I would say some of known faces over here, Phynne is there, Ed, everyone. New faces I get to see, and thanks to you for giving me the opportunity of, watching and listening and learning. It's a learning experience, I will say. And thank you, Christine. Here is a small piece for you. It's very small, Death Calling. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause I may go out of sight. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause I may remain no reason of delight. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause I may shed my light and turn to be no bride. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause the time is running out. I may take off any time, maybe outright. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause fleeting times basking in the twilight. I am feeling the appetite. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause I am looking for the feed of night. Night, I was in our immoral life, lost the might. Come, baby, come, let us hold ourselves as a lost resort, for I take the part. I'm sure we'll never be apart. Come, baby, hold me tight, cause it's not the time to fight. Leave our destiny to take the flight, Come, baby, come. So that's the end of my poem, Death Calling. Hope you enjoyed it.
So very much, Prasanna Kkumar. Oh, thank you for making it. Thank you for your poem, which I feel in my heart. I feel us all holding each other in this sacred space. I am so grateful and I celebrate this. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you do with the poetry community, bringing people together. It is so important.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the honor. Thanks. And do join us in the regular open mics, regular Sunday recitals. It's Indian Standard Time at 7 p.m. You can follow me on, Fertile Brains page on Facebook and WhatsApp too for regular updates.
Yes.
Thank you, Christine.
Oh, thank you, Prasanna.
I expect you to come. I am looking forward. Yeah.
I will be venturing into all sorts of new territory. I'm opening up some spaces within myself and we will see where it leads. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you all do creatively. I'm going to share one. Okay, yes, it's going to happen. Here we go. Let me tell my family they're waiting for me. The food is getting cold. One moment. Okay. Let us see. Let us see. What do I have here? I have something that I'm working on. Who knows? Who knows? This is it. All right. The food is here. I love San Diego. Okay. All right. Here we go. So what? So buttons, bachelor buttons by the side of the road, shrimp flowers. They're medicinal, you know. His favorites are trumpet vine and honeysuckle, the ones that grab a stranglehold and won't let go. I go to the lake alone because even as a single lady, the risk of getting fucked with is less than the 100% if I went with him. Some people call trumpet vine invasive. Other people say it's just vigorous, determined, dominant, persistent. Me, I don't need a bouquet to say it. I'll pick one flower and pin it on him, name him handsome, tell him a woman like me is just what he needs, someone to train him, whip him into shape, weed that garden, and make dinner with all the fixins. I'll go with him, steady, as it were, or persistent, leave that fickle thing alone, flighty, pansy, in rose-colored glasses, glossy. She's stained, she's painted. She's no shrinking violet. She's no wallflower. She's no gilded lily. She's no lady, even. Much like me, an old maid, going for a swim in the lake, alone. No water lilies, no gilding, no gilded edges, no gilt edging in for the tiny infractions spread out, veining, forking, tessellating, fractal flash. Duckweed is the smallest blooming plant. A witchy friend taught me that. We keep our own company. We grow in the mud. We grow in the sand. We grow in the rocks. We grow tired of old stories. We lay the flowers on the grave and let them sleep. I give the flowers to my boys and wear my crown of seaweed. I wrap my arms up like swamp thing, like sea witch, like monstrous, like siren, like mermaid with teeth. Like that's me plucking his bachelor button, and he could only agree. And put us back in the speaker view. No, the gallery. Here we go. Everybody unmute and say goodnight. I love you. Thank you.
We love you, Christine.
Yes,
love
you. Love you.
Love you.
That was wonderful.
Best on everything.
And glad to hear some of these new poets and hope to see you guys again in some capacity. Please, let's look each other up on social media and keep in contact. Definitely.
Let us know when the book drops, Christine.
That's right.
Yes, that.
Just because you're not doing your open mic doesn't mean you don't get to, you have to come to others.
He does have an autistic person.
So I'm going to finish with the pros, and then we'll see what that leads to. I did drop something in November, if anyone's around, either local or online. I've got a 1-hour feature.
Rishi, drive me to that if you're in town.
In the gun in the Dark Tower.
He literally lives with me. I could walk in the other room and ask him instead of ask in the room. I'm sorry, y'all.
I love it. We're a community. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the brew. All that the brew is, it's all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
The best part of not hosting anymore means you get to come and read.
Yeah, I might try that out after a little breather. Exactly.
Yes, come to the Cafe Generalissimo.
See?
Yes, definitely. It's a very cool and gentle place to be.
Yeah,
it's an atmosphere. Yeah,
it's incredible to me.
I'll see you in November or just early December whenever I'm passing through. So
better. There's going to be plenty of things going on. So whatever the timing is of your visit, let's find something. Oh, all right, y'all. I'm going to go eat that cold food. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your weekend.
We did take like 3 hours.
Keep us abreast of your creative innovations.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you for
Thanks,
coming
everybody.
to sing, Jamie.
Bye-bye.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank
Have a great weekend. Keep on
Have a
keeping
good
on.
weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Right.